Oh boy. Boy howdy. Is that good enough? Oh boy, I'm. Alright. No complaining about the keyboard today. Good morning, Cyber. Good morning, Ava. Welcome to another episode of Morning Medley, Arizona edition on the older Yamaha PSR E263. Um, it's small, it sucks, but it makes music. Hello, Ava. Yeah, I did start a little bit early today. This is shenanigans. I feel like I've started a few minutes late enough to where like maybe this will offset some of that. Plus, I was just sitting here, and I was just sitting here. I've been sitting here since like 8:45, and I was like, screw it, whatever. What else am I gonna do? Today I'm embracing the keyboard. I think yesterday was a bit of a knockdown for me because I mean I'm used to playing on a quite better and more versatile keyboard. But you know what? I know what I got now, so I'm going to sit in it and I'm going to enjoy it. Um, yes, Cyber. Oh, thanks, Daniel. Am I going somewhere nice later? No. However, the reason that I'm usually dressed the way that I usually am dressed for the morning medleys is because I do the morning medley almost immediately after working out. I work out in the morning and then I'll make a smoothie and then I sit down for the morning medley. However, since I'm in my parents' home right now, I don't have my weights with me. I don't have like my blender. So my whole like morning routine is kind of out the window. So I simply just woke up and gotten dressed today as if my day had started, and then I did nothing. I haven't eaten that in the Sonic in a very long while, says Cyber. That's actually really funny because there aren't any Sonics in LA, but I'm out here in Arizona where there are so many Sonics, and I keep wondering whether or not I'm going to eat at one. I'm definitely going to eat at a Whataburger at some point. Maybe today. Maybe today. Hey, there's my plans, right? Eat at Whataburger. There's my entire plans for my Tuesday in Arizona. Hello, Alaska Hunters. Welcome to the stream. Good morning, Lindsay. My mom and I are really into your music now. Tell your mom I says hi, Alaska. Oh, that's so sweet. Whoa, you're in Tokyo? With the username Alaska Hunters, that is the last place I would have guessed. That is probably the last place I would have guessed. First guess would have been Alaska. But we're in Tokyo. I mean, without getting too specific. Alaska and Tokyo sounds like such a good song title. Somebody write that down for me. Yes, yes, please do. Okay, the first song that I'm gonna play is a song called Love Letters. It's a nickname, says Alaska. Thank you, Lindsay. Also, thank you, Cyber. I don't know if I saw it when Cyber said it. Thank you for the shirt compliment. It's got a lot of little flowers on it. You know me. Floral and monochrome, that's my thing. Have you ever been to a place called Tokyo Dome City? Alaska Hunters. We were talking. I'm gonna say Alaska. Alaska. We were talking last Friday in the production stream about Tokyo Dome City because I have a song named Olympus that I made right after I got home from Tokyo and spent some time in Tokyo Dome City. I love that little area. The theme park, the roller coaster, the little shops, the restaurants, everything about Tokyo Dome City was so inspiring to me. So I'm glad that you've been there because you may be the only person I've talked to since I've gotten back to the States who has also been to Tokyo Dome City. Hello, Lord. I'm going to say Lord Dark. Darktanius. Darktanius is a lot. Or I could just say Darktanius. I'm going to say Darktanius. Okay, love letters. You missed my opening statement, Lindsay. It's not necessarily that I'm more used to the keyboard today. I made a social contract with myself that today I wasn't going to complain about the keyboard. Today I was just going to embrace it because we know what we're getting. We know what it is. If you were in 191, you know, you know. So there's no need to draw attention anymore to how poor the keyboard is. But yeah, thank you to Alaska and Alaska's mom. What music are you and your mom listening to, Alaska? Are you listening to Signals? When somebody mentions listening to my music with their mom, I think my brain just automatically assumes that it would be something jazzier and lighthearted, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's not Signals at all. Maybe it's Daydream. Million while going to school yesterday. My mom basically streams most of your music. Wow. What a dope mom. stream. I think I play Quick Breath around my mom the most. She likes not on my watch. Word up. Not on my watch. You know what's funny? I don't know that my mom's actually heard not on my watch. Ooh, I like this joke, Cyber. This is the joke I like. Good morning, Jesse, and welcome to the stream. You know, $1/million's keyboard line was actually not supposed to stop there. I've talked about this a few times in streams, but it was supposed to be a lot longer. I can't remember the exact chords, but I remember it going from here to there, to there, to here. Can I find it? Oh. Impressed that I do remember this. This is from a long time ago. That's what it was supposed to do. Oh, thanks, Alaska. Wow, what a sweet new person. Appreciate you, Alaska. Yeah, $1/millionn was supposed to have a longer chord progression, but I remember when Ehi heard the extended version. He was like, loop the first half of it really quick. And then we were looping the first half, and we always kind of had a plan to bring in the second half, but it just never came. We ended up looping the first half for the entire first phase of the song, so it never really evolved past that point. Which makes it a lot easier to play and remember, but yeah, sometimes it's actually nice to have a second head in there to like help simplify some things that I have, because sometimes I overcomplicate songs. Oh, thank you, Alaska. Good morning, Liana. Good morning. How are you? Are you safe? Are you happy? Oh no, let's do something cool for Liana. What's this sound? Oh, no. Shh. I'm doing okay, Liana. I'm sorry it's so late for you, Alaska, but thank you for making the time to come to the stream. I appreciate that. That song's called Double Lutz. Alaska says, sounds like you're using reminds me of a JRPG in the 90s. Yeah, this is a pretty old keyboard, or at least has a lot of old sounds. So, yeah, I mean, JRPG, made by Japan, Yamaha, a Japanese company. I would assume that some of these sounds probably made their way into a JRPG or another. It's a pretty good analysis of whatever this sound is. I think it's supposed to be an organ. Okay, here for me it is 9:14 a.m. Alaska. 9:14 a.m. 9 a.m. Alaska, I do hope that you can come into a stream when I do have my good setup. I'm not complaining. Just want to make it clear, I'm not complaining about this keyboard. However, boy, is it better when I'm at home. Alaska, I'm currently not at home. I am visiting my parents right now, way out in the desert. It's me. Where we at says Mance. We are in Arizona. You guys are way behind. Yeah. We're way behind. Way behind. It is still Tuesday for us here. For us here in the States, it is still Tuesday. Tuesday just got started actually. Omni, what if you were like, welcome to the stream, guys, this is my setup, and this was the normal setup? Speaking of sounds, my brother and his buddies made a VST plugin called Octane. They just got their first YouTube review. Wow. Can you extend your brother some congratulations from me? I don't know if he even knows or cares who I am, but that's actually really cool. hop back in whenever I can because time zone problems. Yeah, I hope it works out. Goodness. Zeph says that was hard. The arp on one side, the chords on the other. Oh, I don't even know what I was doing. Da, 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 da. Oh, maybe? Before this. Oh, we're talking about the accordion thing. That one? One thing that's kind of funny about this keyboard is that those are way easier. Because the keys are so light and dinky. This would be an effort on a piano. Yeah. That's funny. That's funny. Yeah, grace notes, baby, grace notes. Interesting. I forgot all about Baked Alaska. How they doing? How are they doing? Okay, guys. Today is Morning Medley. No. You gotta be freaking kidding me. That's not even a note. That's not. I was talking about something. Doesn't matter anymore. Jesse's talking to Liana. What's your favorite chord? Says Alaska. Sorry if you've been asked this a lot. I have been asked this a lot, Alaska, but that's okay. I don't have a favorite chord because I don't really know. I don't have a lot of identity for chords. I wish that I could explain in a very comprehensive way the way that I see chords. I like the way those ring out. Those are fun. Those are fun. Those are fun. Okay, this one sound is actually pretty cool. Yo, anything can go into vanilla. That's like pretty funny. Anywho, as far as chords, Alaska, I don't think of them as chord names, right? Like I couldn't say, oh, my favorite chord is um, A minor, A minor seven. I can't say that, but I can say that there are specific chord structures that are very common in my music. I don't like any sounds of any specific chords isolated. But let me go back to the piano sound. There are certain chords, structures that I am partial to, and whether this is because I like the sound of them or because it's more comfortable for me to play, I'm not exactly sure. Context of the chords. Thank you, Zeph. So like something like this is a really big one for me. And when I say this chord, I don't necessarily mean specifically this one chord. When I say this, I also mean this. 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 It's just a structure. I love that specific structure of chord. And it's in a lot of my music. For example, on the Gucci Gang remix, it is right there. And what's another song that has it? A lot of my songs have it. It's in Shoto Clone. And there it is right there. That's another one of them. It's just a specific structure of like, typically, when I first started playing piano, and if this goes over anybody's head or under anybody's head because it's so stupid, I apologize. But when I first started playing piano, I would play chords. Let's say I was hitting this chord. Here. If I was hitting that chord and I wanted to come up with a bass line for that chord, I would always just simply hit the lowest note in the chord down here somewhere in the bass area of the piano. So if I was playing this chord, I would find the lowest note, which is this, and I would play it lower, and then that would be my bass note for the chord. Very, very simple. Easy to find, easy to derive. However, as I kept playing piano a little bit longer and getting more used to piano, and getting used to pushing my own personal limits and barriers that I had set up, I started playing different bass notes, right? So with this chord, this is being the lowest note in the chord, and this being the bass note. It sounds very simple, but then I noticed that you can kind of play any bass note underneath this chord, and it works essentially. Maybe it just doesn't get the specific sound that you want it to have. So I started playing like up here maybe. That also works, you know. You can play any of the notes from the chord. So I could play the highest note. Oh, sorry. As a bass note to the chord. I could play the middle note as the bass note also. You can kind of pick any note from the chord and make that the bass note. And that became a new level of like, oh, I don't want to just play this chord anymore. I want to play this chord. That's like cooler sounding. A little bit more unique and complex to me at the time. And then I started playing bass notes that didn't exist in the chord at all. I started playing bass notes that did not exist in the chord. What I mean is, here, let me play this chord. This chord is. So there's a lot of notes that don't exist in this chord because there's only 3 that exist in it. So let me find a note that doesn't exist in the chord. Hear that note? This is the chord, and here's the note, the bass note that I'm gonna play. So I'm gonna take this note and play it lower. And now that's an even weirder chord for me, Alaska, and everybody else in the stream. Because now the bass note doesn't exist in the chord at all, but it still works. So now, usually when I play a chord, I try to find a bass note that isn't in that chord. And that has become such a huge part of the way that I construct chords now. Like this chord, 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 this chord. A lot of times when I'm looking for a bass note, I intentionally will look for a note that doesn't exist in the chord that I'm playing with my right hand. Even so far as to remove that chord from the right hand and remove that note from the right hand and play it in the bass, and then just play a different note in the right hand. It's kind of hard to, explain without having a Friday stream. And the Friday stream, please, I mean, if Alaska's not here, somebody remind me in the Friday stream to revisit this because it is a very good topic, and it's a huge part of how I make my music. In fact, I would go as so far to say that if somebody that didn't know anything about music started playing chords the way I do specifically, like they took that theory in mind, my personal specific omni theory of like bass notes should not exist in the chord, their music will probably to some degree start to sound like mine. Which is like a hard thing to gain just from listening to the music. It's a little bit, once I say it though out loud, it makes a little bit more sense. Bass notes don't exist in the chord. Um, and this is true in so much of my music. Part of the reason, guys, is because I don't like repeating notes. I don't like having octaves of notes, right? Like if I'm playing this note up here, I don't really want to play it down there too. That's like too simple to me. Even if I have to move the note up one or down one, I like the sound of that better. I personally like the sound of that better. So a lot of times, again, this is kind of hard to explain because you guys can only see so much of what my hands are doing. But if I'm playing this chord, and I have to come up with a bass line or a bass note for that chord, this is the lowest note in that chord. So I could hit that one, but that's too simple to me. So I will move the bass note to hit a note that doesn't exist in the chord, like this. Or this note, which also doesn't exist in the chord. And if I do want to hit this note, the lowest note in the chord, I simply won't play this note with my right hand. I'll play a different note with my right hand. Like this note, I'll move it up or down. So instead of hitting this, I'll hit this. I'll throw that note in there. Or this note. I just don't really like playing a bass note that exists in the chord. So a lot of my harmony is based off of like that one thing. At least the harmony that I'm making when I'm playing piano. A lot of my harmony is like, I don't want to repeat notes, so I will move notes around to make sure that they don't repeat. And when you're done doing that, it just kind of makes your chord sound more complicated. That's not the goal, that's just kind of like a byproduct of something that I'm doing. So it usually makes notes more jumbled up in the chord. Stuff like that. Anyways, hope that explained it, Alaska. Hope that made any sense. Yeah, how notes and chords work indeed, Alaska. It's really, it's interesting. There's a name for this, but I'm forgetting it right now, says Zeph. Oh, I believe that wholeheartedly there is a name for this. Probably several names for it. But I think, so on this piano, do you have to make compromises to kind of fake the sound you would get on your go-to? Says this. Well, it's impossible, right? For me to fake the specific sound that I would get on my Yamaha keyboard in my bedroom. Because were you in the stream yesterday? Is by any chance? Because I did talk about this at length, what the differences were, but I won't get too deep into it now. But these keys aren't weighted, and there's just no way to fake the key weight, right? Because the keys all have the same weight on them. And because there's no velocity sensitivity, there's no way to really fake that. The only way to get a note to sound quieter is to turn the volume knob. And if I turn the volume knob down, all the notes are quiet. And if I turn it up, all the notes are loud. Velocity sensitivity is more about dynamic range between quiet and loud notes within the same play, in the same press, I guess. Chord inversions is what you're doing. Indeed, yes, yes, yes. Oh, I know about voicings. I was talking specifically about like voicing a note that's not in the chord of the bass. I know that like if you're playing a chord, there are a lot of different voicings or inversions that you can do, like that. In fact, there's a lot of songs, my own specifically as well, that have inversion climbs in them, where I'll just play a chord and I'll walk it up like that. Usually, I'm trying to think of a song that has that. I do that a lot though, especially during improv. If I'm trying to get from here to the high notes, I'll just keep inverting a chord up higher until I get to the place that I'm trying to be. Also, if you think of high leams, also if you think of the song Double Lutz, which I'm going to kind of speed through to get to the point specifically that I'm talking about. Now, when I land on this chord, that's not the last note. Liana will know this, but a few other people in the stream that are pretty familiar with the song will also know that it goes. Now these notes, those last notes, I'm going to play it again. Sorry. Ooh. So what is this note? This is a chord, right? That is just an inversion of the chord that's playing in the bass. So if I play it in the bass, it's just an inverted higher part, and that's why it misses. That's why it mixes so well. I hope you're doing well, Leams. I hope you're doing well. I hope to see you sometime soon, right? I don't know about this year. I've not seen anybody this year. So that's the first time that it does it. And it's simply an inversion of the bass chord. And then the second time I play through, listen to what I do for this one. So the first one was, and the second one is. Those two endings are just, again, inversions of the same exact chord. Sometimes if you want to make something sound different or altered, without actually changing the notes or changing the harmonic relationship between things, yeah, just invert a chord. And inverting chords is really good for that if you're doing it in melody and harmony, and it's also very good if you are trying to do a chord progression without moving your left hand too much. Now this is not a secret, everybody does this. Hi Sony Ben, Sonic Ben, not Sony Ben, sorry. Hi Sonic Ben Gaming, welcome to the stream. Another way to do it, yeah, if you're playing piano and you're trying not to move your right or your left hand too much in the chord progression, you can do inverted chords. This is something that I do specifically if I'm just working with a smaller amount of keys, so I don't have the range to move around a lot. If you think about the song, this song, okay, so it's the one that I play in the stream sometimes. Wait. No. That's not it at all. Okay, I got it. So that song that I play sometimes? So the first chord of that is, which is actually a chord inversion. The first chord of that song is actually supposed to be. It's supposed to climb down or descend. But when I'm playing that song a lot of the time, there's no room for me to do that. See how close together my hands are? And so to make it more comfortable so my hands aren't jumbled up like this and essentially cramping, I will take this chord and I will invert it down twice to there. Same chord, just being inverted. And it gives my hands more breathing room. And I also don't have to move my left hand as much of like this common descent. Now I'm just here. You're barely moving. Now, chord inversions. Oh my goodness, what a long explanation this is turning out to be. So, chord inversions make it so that your hand doesn't have to move that far. If you think about a lot of the chords that I play with my right hand, specifically when I'm naming the platforms in the end of the string, my wrist hasn't moved at all from like holding my wrist solid, but those are 4 different chords. The only reason that that is possible is because of inversions. If I actually played these chords uninverted, it would be... Wow, which not only sounds weird, but is, yeah, it's a lot of movement. So instead, it would be... That was hard for me. And so to keep my hand from having to move as much, I invert all the chords. So again, the uninverted version is... And the inverted version is... You hear how they kind of contain the same harmonic movement, the same harmonic information, but I've just rearranged the notes to make it easier for my hand to play. And it does change the sound a little bit, you know. It's not these really high highs and these huge movements. It's kind of just like small shifts. And so sometimes you will just invert chords so that you don't move your hand as much, so it's not as much moving. However, the formation of your hand is going to change a lot more often. I'm going to pause what I'm saying really quickly to get to the bottom of the chat. I've been gone for over a month, says King Cake. Well, welcome back, King Cake. I'm currently doing a remote stream. I'm in Arizona, in case anybody or you is wondering why the stream looks a little bit different right now. Never thought I'd be watching Homie talking music death like this. Word. Okay, so what's funny is I don't consider this deep music theory because I don't know what the name of anything I'm playing is. But Zeph and everybody in the stream, pianos are, it's a loop, right? Even somebody that doesn't play music, after looking at a piano for long enough, I'd say maybe a minute, you would be able to tell that it's just the same thing repeated over and over. It's like a copy and paste of the same amount of white notes and black notes. And after not too much experimentation, I realized that if I hit this black note between the other 2 black notes, and I hit this black note between the other 2 black notes, and I hit this black note between the other 2 black notes, and I hit this black note between the other 2 black notes, they're all the same. They're all the same note, just, you know, moved up an octave or down an octave. And I was like, oh, okay. So if I can't reach this one with my hand, is it okay if I just play the one that's closer to me? Won't it give me the same sound? And it does. So, to jump back into what I was talking about with inversions, that is one way that playing piano with your right hand can be made easier if you're playing a lot of chords with your right hand. Inverting chords just makes it so you don't have to move your hand as much. It's not a very complicated or theoretical or scientific conversation. It's literally maximize of power. It's like trying to maximize your power or conserve energy, which is also found in non-musical ways, you know, thinking about... Sorry. Sorry, thinking about, like, for example, in my... You guys don't see me make my smoothie anymore because I don't do it live on stream like I used to for Instagram. But when I make my smoothies, I do food prep. And my food prep is like, you know, I'll go to the store, I buy a bunch of strawberries, I chop the strawberries up, I freeze them. I get a bunch of blueberries, I wash those, I freeze them. I get a watermelon, I chop it up into little cubes, I freeze it. I get bananas, I chop them up into little like silver dollar things, I freeze it. I get kiwi and I chop them in half and then I scoop them out and I freeze it. And I'm doing all this so that when it comes to making the smoothie, it's maybe 3 minutes worth of like boom, 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 juice, blend. Now I could also wait until anytime I want to make a smoothie and I can go in there and peel a banana and chop up the fruit, but it just takes more time and energy. The smoothie will taste essentially the same, but I'm just trying to conserve my energy. So I have front loaded a lot of my energy in food prep, and that is a good analogy for what I'm about to talk about with inversions. So if you're inverting a chord, like for example, this chord formation, I'm saying chord formation. I don't know if this is a chord formation. Keep in mind, a lot of the terms that I'm using, except for inversion, I guess, is a lot of just stuff I'm saying. Maybe they don't exist in specific music theory books, or if they do, they apply to something slightly different than what I'm saying right now. So here's one chord, here's another chord, here's another chord. You can kind of put your hand in a shape generally. If your hand is in this shape, and you push it down, you can get that chord. And then if you kind of move your hand around, you can get a lot of those. Those chords aren't the same chord. In my brain they are. In my brain they are the same chord, but I'm not going to try to unload a lot of my specific ignorance to you guys, especially if you're getting into music. So that's a particular area of my music making where I'm not going to share too much. But to me, these are all the same chord. I know they aren't all the same chord, but I'm playing them the same. My hand feels the same as I'm playing them. So I'm viewing them as the same chord. Kind of like how if you get on a skateboard and you do something with your feet and the board does something, you're like, oh, that's a trick. And if you do the same thing with your feet on sand and the skateboard does something, to me, that's the same trick. Regardless of environment, you doing the thing and the board doing the thing is the same. So these are all the same chord to me. But when you get into inversions, you can't just take the same hand formation and move it up and down along the piano. You're going to have to change your hand formation. So your hand is not going to move as much, but your fingers are. So sometimes as a piano player, you have to go like, okay, do I want to, oh, good night, Alaska. Thank you so much for being in the stream. When you're thinking about chords, there are two basic things you can move. You can move your hands and your wrist, or you can move your fingers more. And moving the hand, I would say, is more energy, right? Moving your hand around. But I think moving your fingers is more brain power. This is insane. I should never teach anybody anything. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, moving your fingers is more brain power. And it's because you're going to have to change your formation. Think of like a guitar. Have you ever seen anybody play a guitar and how they have to like change their fingers every time they hit a chord? Or they can just make one formation and they can move it up and down the neck and it'll make different chords. But if they want to make different chords in the same space, they're going to have to like do all kinds of like funky doohickeys with their fingers. It's kind of the same thing for piano. So a lot of times when I don't want to move my hand as much, for example, in the closing platform song, anyways, that song is filled with it's filled with inversion. It's filled with inversions, and the reason that this song is filled with chord inversions is because there are a lot of chords in this song. So think, okay, oh man, okay, so sorry if I'm jumping around a lot, guys. I do really want to nail this point in though before I move on. The song Love Letters, right? Let's talk about love letters. What is love letters? It is this. It's just those three chords played back and forth. But as you can see, my hand is moving quite a bit from here to here to here to here. It's like quite a bit of moving around. Now I could invert those chords to make it so that my hand wouldn't have to move as much. I could go. the same chords. As you can hear there, when I play them like that, they have the same harmonic integrity and relationships. But if I play it with that same rhythm, the bass note is now not having this very convenient and clean. The bass note doesn't do that anymore. Now it goes, which doesn't have the same movement. So if you listen to the bass in the Love Letters hook, it's... I'll just play the bass note. I'll play it now with the inverted chords. Same harmonic information, but the bass doesn't have as much movement in it. Because let me play the bass by itself. After I'll play the chords, just so you get context. Now just the bass note. Now the old bass line. Inverted bass line. Old bass line. So you can probably tell the inverted bass line just doesn't have as much movement in it, and it's simply to taste, right? If I wanted to use that bass line, I could, but I've chosen not to because I want to have the movement of the bass line from like top to bottom, back to the middle, top to bottom, because I think it helps with that waltzy feel, like bum, 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 bum. A lot of movement in the bass helps the waltz rhythm, so I didn't want to keep this same bass note. It's very dissonant and fun, which is a thing that inversions help, dissonance. But yeah, I just didn't particularly want that for Love Letters. And then when you think of a song that has a lot of chords kind of shoved in it, because that's only 3 chords, right? So inverting didn't necessarily seem like something I had to do. It didn't seem necessary. This didn't necessitate inversions, because yeah, it's a lot of hand movement, but it's only 3 chords. But when you get into stuff like the closing song where there's chord, 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 lots of chords, I don't want to play those all over the piano, or else my hands will be moving like this for the entire song. I want to do more inversions. Anyways, I hope that explained what inversions are to me and how specifically I implement them. But when I talk about, to relate this now to the initial point, which was the way I play chords, almost all of my chords are inverted, and if they're not plainly inverted with my right hand, like this is played pretty straight, right? Usually I will play a note that's not in the chord in the bass to still give it some level of dissonance. I very rarely will play chords just straight out, It feels too cheesy sometimes to me to play it. And sometimes the song calls for it, absolutely. But I just feel like because of the way I personally approach a piano now in my career, I tend to shy away from things like that. Usually it's for like older songs. Like if you think of, for example, the way that Hush Hour ends. Here it goes. Very, very cheesy end, right? Now, that is not the only note that I play, though. I don't just play bass note and this chord. I throw this note in to give it a little bit of like, again, this is without it, with it. Can you hear a slight difference? Without, with just one extra note that I usually throw in there at the end. So instead of going like, I go like this. See, it's a very, very, very subtle difference, but just adding that one note makes the ending to that song palatable to me. I like to add in extra notes. I very, very rarely just play the simple chord the way it is. Even for something like Witchy, which is a really cheesy song, right? Very cheesy song, but I usually throw, instead of just playing that chord like that, I usually throw this note in. This one. Which is where I think a lot of its like witchy qualities come from. Anywho, wow, beat that horse to death. Hope anybody in the chat got anything out of that, because I wasn't looking at the chat. I apologize. When I say this note, I mean he's not. Oh man, okay. There's a whole thing going on. There's a whole thing. Maybe you weren't there for some of the conversations I'm thinking of. Oh, yeah. I mean, Zeph isn't always in the stream as much as everybody else is, so Zeph might miss some of the like more chordal. Sometimes Zeph, I do go into like really stupid. I don't want to call them rants, because they're not particularly angry or passion driven, but sometimes I'll get into specifically the ways that I play piano, because I don't know a lot of the theoretical terms for them, or terms that other people will be able to understand. For example, I do know the word inversion, right? And I kind of understand a basic comprehension of what an inversion is of chords. However, it's a lot deeper than that. It's a lot deeper than how I'm saying it. But then there's something else, like the way I write my bass lines, specifically, Zeph. I've talked maybe in like 10 different streams now at this point about specifically the way that I choose to articulate my bass lines under specific chords. But yeah, all I was saying is I should really talk about theory. Just explain how you uniquely perceive piano, because you haven't been taught how to perceive it through music theory the same way as others have. It's like your own theory, for sure. I still feel that way, actually, Zeph. The only difference between this conversation and any of those others, I used the word inversion. Somebody else brought up the word inversion, and then I started using that word. I can't remember. Oh, goodbye, Cyber. I hope you enjoy your breakfast. Lunch? Probably lunch. You're further east than me. I hope you enjoy your lunch. Oh man. But yeah, I think I was doing that for a really long time, Zeph, and then somebody in the stream, and this was a while ago. This was like Instagram streams, Zeph, so I don't know if you were there for those, but somebody in the Instagram stream was like, "That's called an inversion," and I was like, "Oh, okay," because I don't know what I was saying at the time. Maybe jumbling. I would like jumble the notes from the chords, or move it higher. In the same way that, Zeph, I don't know if you were in this stream either, but I talked about how I didn't want to play certain songs in certain places. Like, for example, this. To here. Or doublets. Somebody was like, "Oh, that's they're like, that's called transposing," and I was like, "Oh, the word transpose makes a lot of sense. Kind of like the word invert makes a lot of sense to like music theory people, because they've spent time learning music theory. Those words mean nothing to me, because I don't have to talk to other musicians specifically about how to play music. I'm not a teacher, right? A lot of theory and a lot of language and vocabulary is specifically useful for teaching people things, because then you can tell somebody one thing and they can go double check that in a book and talk to other musicians. However, I'm not a teacher, nor am I a student in the traditional sense. So a lot of these terms don't matter to me. But when other people will say them in the stream, so as not to confuse those specific people, I will start using that word, like the word inversion. But it's interesting, Zeph, because I feel like if I didn't use the word inversion and was just talking about my own specific way that I move chords around, you wouldn't have akin it to me talking about in-depth music theory. But yeah, it is funny. I think words sometimes when like a word is said, people will go, music theory. This fool's talking music theory. Like if I talk every day, all day about like, oh man, I love like playing these notes here. If I put this one closer there, they're like weird and crunchy. I always talk about like crunchy chords or like spicy chords. But I think if I didn't say words like crunchy or spicy or juicy and used words like dissonant more or I don't know, majors, minors, flats, sharps, stuff like that, people would go, "This fool's talking music theory," and like really, I'm saying the same thing. The only difference is I'm using words either that are comfortable to me or I'm using words that exist in a textbook somewhere. Um, but I do like the like these. There's definitely a. I know that if I go to some dude that just graduated Berkeley and I play those, I'm sure there's something. Well, I'm just playing anything, but Berkeley. Oh crap! Berkeley got a hearty laugh out of that. Okay, well that and golden chords, but that's my patent pending phrase. Ah, yeah, the golden chord. The golden chord's almost not a chord at all. The golden chord is playing an octave of two notes and then adding a middle note that's closer to the high note. Okay. House of Omni is going to upgrade to the School of Omni. Ooh, that would be kind of cool. That would be kind of cool. I could charge people. Uh, Omni, have you heard of Dami and JD Beck? Oh, are you talking about the French girl, Dami? Yeah. We were together in New York not that long ago, actually. Is that, well, I mean, now with quarantine, it feels like a freaking eternity ago, but me and Dami are both sponsored by Yamaha. So a lot of time when Yamaha has like uh, seminars or something like that, or they're releasing a new keyboard, usually they'll fly me and Dami and this other dude out whose name escapes me, and I feel really bad because I like him a lot. And this other guy, the Ox, he's like a drummer, and everybody calls him the Ox. I think his Instagram is just the Ox Graham or something like that. Anyways, me and Dami, I would not say that we're close. Dami's interesting. Me and Dami, I would say, have two. Me and no, the second one, like a ox, like the animal. I would say that me and Dami have personalities that hard clash, and I think that we both respect each. Well, I mean, all right. I think I respect her, and that's all I can say. But I think that our personalities clash like very hard. But she's a very good musician. We're me and her the example of like two very opposite musicians. Whereas Dami was somebody that like if you talk to Dami, Dami's like, I've been playing piano since I was 4 years old. You know, I knew how to play piano before I knew how to like walk, stuff like that. And like has like all of the background knowledge, right? Like knows what everything is, knows how to do this, knows how to do that. Like has really been through the ringer. And I'm more the example of like the person that's like, yeah, I didn't really like buy my first keyboard until like I was almost done with high school, and even then I saw it as more of a toy than I did like a musical instrument. And Dami and her path knew more about music theory and pianos and things like that when she was like 9 than I do now. So we're very different. We're two very different musicians. She's more of the Berkeley type, while I'm more of the like garage band, not the program, like the background, like more of the garage band, like dive bar, internet, making fun video type. But Donnie's really dope. Donnie's really dope. I think she's on the Modi now, the Modi X. You don't care. I'm talking to a brick wall now. But anyway, yes, I do know Dummy, but you said a different person also, and I can't remember who that person was. Hmm. That's actually really funny. Cyber. I don't know who that comment is for, but I like it a lot. JD Beck is a drummer that she plays with a lot. Oh, word up. Hey, what's up, Bobby? Oh, snap. Oh my god, Bobby Evans is back. Welcome back. JD Beck. JD Beck. I'll have to check them out. Word up. Yeah. You know what sucks, honestly, a lot of time, Zeph? I'll say this. This isn't specifically about Dami. This isn't specifically about Dami. But sometimes I wish that I could not know musicians. Sometimes I wish that I could just listen to them. Because like a lot of people have this whole like separate the art from the artist thing, which I admire and also am frustrated by depending on the conversation that I'm having. But I feel like a lot of times, like for example, I don't know if you know who Lewis Cole is. But oh, good morning, Peace Bean. If I didn't say so already, I don't know if you know who Lewis Cole is. I love Lewis Cole. That is a man. That is a man that I love. And know that the artist makes some stuff really rough. Thank you. Yeah, Jesse, it does. And so, like somebody, I love Lewis Cole, and Lewis Cole has actually been super, super nice to me. And so I've only experienced the good of this man. And every time I listen to his music, I'm like, yeah, this dude's sick as heck. Um, I'm not gonna talk about him in this stream. That's a loaded topic. Some of which is good, some of which is bad, and none of which I'm gonna get into in this stream. But I will say sometimes, and not even like news articles or something like that, right? Like not even like a news thing. When I say not a news thing, like for example, let's say chain smokers, right? Do I like chain smokers? No, of course not. Of course I don't like chain smokers. I don't really need to get into why I don't like chain smokers, but if you know me, you knew I didn't like chain smokers. So let's just say I don't like chain smokers. But not from any specific personal interaction that I've had with them. More so because of like business practices and industry stuff is why I'm not particularly fond of the chain smokers. Now, if I made something more personal, is there anybody I can name that like I don't feel it? If there's something more personal, hmm. I can't. I can't. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Maybe one day, but not today. But there are some people in the scene or in the industry that you all know that I also personally know, and unfortunately, my personal relationship or interactions with them have soured my ability to enjoy their music. And I admire people that are like separate the art from the artist because I just cannot do that. I just can't do that. I have like some people can do that. I don't know what makes that possible. Like I don't know how anybody does that. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how people do that, but I personally cannot do it. And so sometimes I'll feel bad because somebody will come in a stream and they're like, "Do you know so and so? Do you know so and so's music? Oh, I just got their new album and it's so sick." And I'm just like, "Haha, yeah, yeah, I've played shows with them. They're really talented." And I'm saying like a lot of like really weird like diplomatic like responses that are like non-committal because I just cannot stand that person and thinking about them causes me dismay. And the music probably is good, but I just can't hear it as good. That's how wild I am. Like usually, if somebody's like really awful to me personally, their music just does sound bad to me. It just starts to sound bad because it reminds me of bad things. To be fair, not because the chords are bad, right? Anyways, I can remember random things like that, but not things actually important. Says Diz. What? Scorpio Wizard Dragon Master. Oh, Diz does remember that. Holy crap. Chainsmokers as 14-year-olds listen to feel independent. Huh, that's fun. That's funny. Most of the people in that separate the art from the artist camp aren't artists, don't know how much a person is in their world. Oh, I gotta get out of this topic. I gotta get out of this topic. I forgot that. I forgot that Jesse's like. I forgot that Jesse doesn't like pull punches in stream for some reason. I gotta get out of this before I get myself in trouble. But you're absolutely right, Jesse. You're absolutely right, Jesse. People, yeah. I feel like artists who are ethical people tend to not agree that you can separate the art from the artist. Yeah, yeah, typically so. But I do. I feel like people tend to pick and choose more than they really separate the art from the artist. The same people who hate X for abusing his girlfriend still listen to John Lennon. This is true. This is true. People do pick and choose. People will pick and choose, right? Um, people will pick. Uh oh. Spice wave, spice wave. Yeah, people will pick and choose. Listening to a controversial artist doesn't mean you automatically support what they do, says Diz. Mmm. Mmm. Yeah. Here's the thing, Robert Kelly. Yeah. Okay. Oh my goodness. All right. Um. Ooh. Okay. I see your comment. I see your comment, Bobby. And yeah, you're right. Here's listen. And Zeph's absolutely right. Right. Oh my God. Uh oh. Uh oh. Overload. Overload. Listen. Listen. Oh man. How do I get in this and also simultaneously get immediately out of it? Out of it. Cause yeah, Jesse, it's still support. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. I think we aren't machines, right? We are not machines. We are not machines. Eddie's in. Eddie's in. Listen, we are not machines. I understand that we are people. I'm lactose intolerant. I eat cheese all the time. It tastes good. But sometimes, if somebody offers me something that has cheese in it that I don't want to eat, I will lie and say it's because I'm lactose intolerant. When in actuality, I will eat a slice of pizza. But if somebody's like, you gotta try some baked macaroni and cheese, it's the best in the valley. I'm like, nah, I'm good on that. I'm lactose intolerant. Can't touch this stuff. So I understand we're animals, we're not machines. You can go use one reason for not doing one thing and use a different reason for not doing another thing. You could say, I don't want to listen to this artist because they sexually assaulted somebody, but then you could also still listen to R. Kelly. I understand that people are hypocrites. I also understand that canceling people doesn't really exist. Maybe that's a hot take. I don't think it's that hot of a take. It doesn't really exist. I think that it more. I think that what it actually is us choosing who is kind of. What's the word? What's a good word? We choose who is expendable. That's the word. You choose who's expendable. If somebody in society seems like they're expendable and they've done some awful things, then we just get rid of them. We're like, try to get them out of here. But if there's somebody else that does some pretty whack things and we kind of want to like them though because they're so valuable, they made a good movie, they made a cool car, they made a cool backpack, they made some nice shoes, then the grand public will kind of resist getting rid of them. Because their social value is so high. It's very transactional, right? Um, yeah. Exactly, Lindsay. Lindsay brings up a really good point. Um, I can't listen to R. Kelly anymore. I can't deny that he's a musical genius and he wrote a lot of songs I love, but I'll survive without them. I'm Gucci. Eddie, exactly. Um, so Eddie, I R. Kelly did a lot of really wild songs. R. Kelly, like, he was writing for everybody. He was writing for Michael Jackson. He was doing, like, the dopest. But I think when people are like, separate the art from the artist, to me, I'm just like, it's not worth it. The music's not that good. And I think that it's because I'm a musician that I'm more predisposed to going like nobody's music is so good enough that I have to listen to it. I don't think that that's ever happened to me. I think even if it's like the best song I've ever heard, and it's made by my best friend turns out to be like not a great dude. I'm just probably not gonna listen to the song. There's so much music in the world. I'll be okay. Um, but if we see people as expendable, it's easier to get rid of them, which is why a lot of people will see like their homie, their homie with like 3,000 followers get canceled and like taken off of social media for doing something bad, maybe for like tweeting the N word, 4 years ago. But then you'll see somebody else who's just a little bit more socially valuable do something way more egregious, and they'll kind of be okay. Um, so yeah, I think it's not actually driven by a moral compass or moral aptitude. I think it's more driven by your social value and social standing. Um, you can't cancel big people. You can't cancel people that a lot of people like. You can't cancel the president of the United States, right? But you could cancel like me, for example. You can cancel me for doing something maybe like a tenth as bad as whatever like Donald Trump has done. So yeah, it's more about your social value. I think I've said my point. That being said, though, wait, why did we even get on this? Oh, because separating the art from the artist. Unfortunately, I know a lot of artists. Unfortunately for me, I moved to a city where a lot of them live, and I've had personal relationships with them. Some which have been so good, so I can talk about the good ones. There's an artist named 12th Planet. I don't know if anybody in the stream knows 12th Planet. He's like, or knows of their music, knows that they exist. Please, just one person know who I'm talking about. If I could just get one person who knows who 12th Planet is, it'll rest my easy soul. Um, yeah. Black women really do receive the brunt of it. They do. You mentioned him before, says Jesse. I have. I don't know if anybody knows though. He was a he was like a trap dubstep guy. He was like one of the people that really gave Skrillex a space early on, um, like a long time ago. I'll be honest, guys. I don't really listen to a lot of his music. I think I did a long time ago, but I don't really listen to it now. Um, I think. I think this is a good point, Bobby. This is, you're making a good point, but I'm still gonna talk about whatever I was saying, which was um, knowing that man has, I think, enriched my life. There's another man, Danny United. Also, you definitely don't know who that is. He's a manager in the music industry. You guys don't know who managers are, but like he was somebody that also helped a lot. There's a dude named Team Easy, or his producer name was Team Easy. He's on Ausla. He's been a huge help to me. Maybe not musically, but just like as a person. There's a lot of artists that I've gotten to know. Melanie Faye is somebody who um, I do really. I feel like we've kind of had a falling out, but for the time that we were like really good friends, like a professional falling out. By the way, nothing happened. I think we just started moving in two different ways professionally. But like she, I thoroughly enjoyed my time with her. And if anybody ever brings her up, I have nothing but good things to say. Anybody ever brings up Daedalus, I have nothing but good things to say. Anybody ever brings up Juicy J, I have nothing but good things to say. These are people that I feel like were very, very respectful and nice to me. Maybe not everybody, right? I'm just talking about my personal relationship with them. They've been like very, very nice, very, very respectful to me. Gave me opportunities where maybe I earned them, but still maybe they could have gone to anybody. They gave me some really cool advice, maybe. Stuff like that. Really, really cool. But I think that for every like one of them, there's like 10 people that are very, very accomplished, very successful musicians that are just horrible people. A way that we try to fix these problems is currently, for example, on the site here, not there yet. Yeah. Um, Horse before the cart, baby. Um, hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Also a good point from Lindsay. Has to come from within the community. It can't come from without. But yeah, knowing artists sometimes is a drag. Knowing artists sometimes is a drag, and I feel like it's almost targeted, but I feel like people in the stream only bring up artists that I have bad relationships with. I feel like you guys never bring up like the good homies. You guys never bring up the homies. You only bring up people I don't have good friendships with anymore. Earlier, when I said support, what I meant was it doesn't mean you believe what they do is right. This is true, Diz. This is true, Diz. But I'm going to paint a picture, Diz, because I think what you're saying is absolutely right. Um, Buying R. Kelly's album does not mean that you support misogyny. Maybe, sure, I have to trust that some people just want to listen to that song and also respect women. However, in a world where you, Diz, don't personally have a relationship with R. Kelly, your only interaction with R. Kelly is by giving him money. So your only way to disapprove of his behavior is by not giving him money. You can't call up R. Kelly and be like, "Yo, what are you doing, dude?" You can't like sit down and have a talk with him. You can't organize intervention. You can't do anything to show that you disapprove of what he's doing, other than not buying that album or not streaming his music. It's your only thing you can do. A good example of that is I remember when I went to Sunday school, which it sucked. In Sunday school, they're not really allowed to, or at least in the specific one I went to, they're not really allowed to yell at you. They can't spank you, or at this specific one they couldn't. They can't spank you. They can't really put you in timeout. They can't do anything like that. But they did have these like stickers and pins that they would give out on Friday. And if you hadn't behaved, they wouldn't give you a pin. Now, does that mean that you didn't deserve the pin, or does that mean that you shouldn't have a pin? No, but it's their only way to discipline you. It's their only option. And so, for that reason, they will withhold the pin. And us as music consumers, our only way to discipline a rapist or a assailant or a racist is to withhold our money from them. So I hear what you're saying, Diz, when you're saying just by buying the album, it doesn't mean you support what they're doing. You're absolutely right. But at the same time, how then do you disapprove of? How do you show your disapproval of that artist in a way that actually affects anything? Because I can, march around and go like, "R. Kelly, you know, what a nasty, nasty man," and then I can openly give him money, and it just feels wrong. It's like, then what's the point of having that opinion if you're not going to voice it or express it in a useful, productive way? That's all. That's all. That's it. That's everything. Um. Aging on that number was always creepy to me, says Eddie. Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Okay, first of all, yes, Eddie. I should have chosen that time to get really pensive. But the reason that I got pensive is because um, age of consent is so weird. I think that age of consent would be so much easier and palatable as if we had one, global age of consent. But the age of consent is pretty drastically shifted depending on what state even you're in. Like the United States of America doesn't even have one age of consent, which is like kind of wild to me. And so sometimes when I think of consenting age, right? Because it's like here in like LA, I know it's 18. I know some places it's 16, more towards the south. Um, I know that like if you go to South Korea, it's 20. The age of consent is 20 everywhere in South Korea. I know that in Japan it is significantly lower, and we won't talk about that. But I think it's interesting that I guess people all over the world have had to look at people, children or teenagers, and go, how old? How old? how old are do we feel like these people are able to make good decisions? It's weird. It's a weird thing to have to be put in charge of. And so South Korea's being as high as 20 is really funny to me because it feels like they're like, nah, screw it. None of these teenagers are old enough. Just make it 20. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's really interesting. Bobby says my issue with a lot of conversation around this stuff tends to be throw them in prison to rot. But it's also ironic because the people who say this tend to be prison abolitionists. You're absolutely right, Bobby. So, man, like, don't you think about who's in prison? That's why they think privileges tend to be able to choose to cancel when it's slightly ignorant because not all producing an environment that supports those harmed. Yeah, very good points, Bobby. You're making good points. Do you have a passport? Do you have your shots? Oh, Cyber is quoting an R. Kelly song. I remember that. I saw that video. I remember looking at that video. That was wild. I'm watching Cardcaptor Sakura, and it's like wild how elementary students are crushing on teenagers and adults. Yeah. Yeah. That I mean, I didn't rewatch all of that show, but I rewatched enough of it to see like how truly creepy it kind of was, and I was like, Japan, it's okay. Just to be clear, Bobby, I think criticism is necessary, but disposing of people is not the way to go. This is true. Um, I think that makes sense. Eddie says the stance on age of consent is the following: I don't give an F about the law. I only follow my morals. I'm 26. If she ain't at least 21, she can't be mine, says Eddie. Mine, she will never be. I feel you. Eddie. You go mostly by personal morals, but if we all went by personal morals, I think if we all went by personal morals instead of like federal law, I would be dead right now. Somebody definitely would have gotten their hands on me and wiped me out. So, yeah, personal morals can't be trusted, unfortunately. Unfortunately for the bad people. I know the good people, usually have. I'm watching the new Fruits Basket anime. There's a new one. Okay, so there's this thing. I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna move on because I don't like where this conversation is going. But I watched this show called Switch Girl, which is based off of a manga of the same title. Some Japanese show. It sucks. Don't watch it. But there is an entire chapter of that show where, like, a teacher basically like sexually assaults her, like makes out with her and stuff, and she like doesn't want it. And it's not a problem. It's mostly played up for like drama and laughs, and everything is okay in the end. And yeah, it's wild. Anywho, CP was legal in Japan. Child porn was legal in Japan until 2016. Word up, Zev. Tell the people. Tell them. Hey, what's up, Easy Door? Okay, I don't want to talk about this anymore. We can't talk about child porn in the stream. But Japan is different, right? Every country is different. Every country is different, guys. I wasn't trying to get into this talk. I was just saying that age of consent is weird to me because nobody really knows what it should be. I don't think anybody really knows. And so somebody from Korea where it's 20 might come out here where it's 18 and be like, yo, what? You're dating children. And then, somebody where it's 18 might go somewhere where it's 16 and go, what? That's not okay. So I don't know. Right? Teach their own. Reminds me of old cartoons where a big explosion would happen and kill 10 people and no one bats an Oh, who said that? Who said that? Umbe? Okay, Umbe. Now getting us out of this conversation, there is I love Sentai. I love Sentai. I've talked about Sentai all the time. I love Sentai. If you don't know what Sentai is, Power Rangers is a regionalized version of this Japanese show called Sentai. The regionalized version in America, i.e. Power Rangers, was a lot more tame. And they would edit out a lot of things. They would edit out blood, they would edit out guns, they would edit out more darker plot lines and make it more palatable for American kids. But if you watch the actual Japanese version of it, it gets pretty dark, and there's a lot of really wild stuff that happens. And there's just straight up like genocide a lot of the times in Power Rangers, and I mean in Sentai the original, and also in Power Rangers. You know how like they would turn into big robot and they're like throwing the monster into a different building and that building explodes. But Power Rangers would usually have a quick throwaway line where they're like, okay, we've evacuated the city, time to power up. In Sentai, they don't evacuate the city. Tons of people, just droves of people get incinerated constantly in Sentai. And then 5 minutes later, they play the happy like ending song, and they're like, "We saved the city." But meanwhile, like whole families are murdered, just brutally murdered. And they even like address it sometimes, where there will be like an orphan that are like, "My parents, they got incinerated," and you know. The kid ends up getting like delivered to an orphanage or whatever, or they adopt the kid and he's kind of like their little gizmo. It's really funny. Anyways, oh my god, what is the name of the Sentai where they are all fruits? Good question, Eddie. Good question. I've only seen 2 episodes of that one. The villains are villains in Sentai shows. Yeah, the villains are villains. They're not like cute. They're not like like what is it? Team Rocket from Pokemon. They're like Joker from Batman. They just straight up murder people. I do like Q Ranger. O Ranger, Flash, O Ranger. I'm thinking of O Ranger. Q Ranger is the one with their dinosaurs, right? Q Ranger was what was turned into Power Rangers. No, that's Zoo Ranger. Q Ranger was Q Ranger? Sorry guys, there's a lot of them. I like O Ranger a lot. I like Jetman. I like Time Ranger a lot too. I like Kaku Ranger, where they're all ninjas, and there's another ninja one called Hurricaneger. That's also very good. Zoo Ranger, O Ranger, Time Ranger. Gal Ranger is okay, kind of. This is not a Sentai review stream. I'm gonna stop talking about Sentai now. It's very good though. If you ever get a chance to watch it, any of them, please watch it. Word up, Zeph. No. We keep it clean in here, or at least as clean as possible. Watch Kamen Rider Gaim Omni. I promise it's dope. I have. I own all of the first season of Kamen Rider, and I haven't seen anything else. Isn't that wild? I haven't seen any of the further iterations of it, but maybe I'll get around to watching Kamen Rider Gaim, Eddie. Maybe. Christ. Did you think about whether you name Afterglow or not? I'm naming a game show. I'm joking, of course. Oh, that's not crazy. That's not crazy. I love that bit, guys. Ew. Why does it make me think of Price is Right? I need to look up a video or something today, maybe tomorrow. Okay, 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 okay. Eddie says Zoro's dope. Oh, he's got more money than us. I don't know what you're talking about. Mm, who has money? Can you play the Price is Right theme? LMAO. I love that song. No. No, Eddie. I can't. Okay? I also love that song, but I don't know how to play it. Um, and I'm not gonna try because I'm sure I can learn the melody of it. Absolutely. But how hard can that be? The melody won't be hard, but specifically the chords. They do this really cool harmonic thing right at that part. Yeah, those chords. Anywho, uh, I wish I could give everybody a title. Oh heck! Oh whoa! Hold on. Oh, that's I didn't know. Whoa, guys, I didn't know. Okay, hold on. Hold on. This keyboard might be okay. Don't know who that sounds for, but definitely not for me. What is that? A techno banjo? Nothing's as good as that one. Wow, there isn't enough keys to even go up that high. Sorry. Boy, 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 boy. Let's give a personalized house wouldn't bold and some of us too much. Would it be chaos? Would it be chaos? Am I trusting the people on the stream too much? You guys seem level-headed. You guys seem level-headed. Where's Gabriel at? Where's Gabriel? I feel like Gabriel came in at the very end of the last stream. Does YouTube allow you to put emojis in your name? I don't know. It's actually a good question. That's a good question. I don't know. Guys, I don't know if any of you, I don't know how many of you guys have had Whataburger, alright? But, but I love that place so much, guys. only get to eat it maybe once every couple of years, so it remains tasty to me. Especially now that I don't play South by Southwest anymore. Sorry, Austin, Texas. Anybody that lives in Austin, Texas, you will not see me probably for a while. Oh, crap. Whoa. Whoa, what the heck? Chill. Oh. Oh, this chair sucks. Never mind. I thought I liked it. Uh-oh. 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 Come on, buddy. Well, oh, wow. Guys, I think I broke it. Anyhow. Don't fall out of the chair. I won't. It's just, it's no longer supporting my lumbar. My lumbar is now. How? How, bro? Then what's that lever supposed to do? Nothing? Whatever. Alright, guys. We're at 140. Oh, this is awful. I haven't played 78. How come this keyboard can do that, but my MX61 can't? Oh, I actually reached for a... Oh, guys, I reached for a modulation wheel. Oh, isn't that sad? It doesn't have one. Thank you, Diz, for being in this stream. We appreciate you always. So much and always. If you ever wanted to send Omni or me a private message the rest of the stream, you curse a bunch and it'll get flagged for review. That's actually pretty funny. That would be adequate. That would work because I do read all those. Okay. Guys. So, still driving my car around, trying to... But I have a plan today, so I'm going to try to do that. If I can get it figured out by today, then hopefully I could leave tomorrow, or even late tonight at the earliest. You know, it's Tuesday. It's weird, you know? LA is home now. Isn't that weird? Isn't it weird when you go home and you're homesick for new home? I miss my home. I miss my bed. I miss my big TV. I miss my PlayStation. I miss my, I guess that's about it. I miss all the electronics in my apartment. Yeah. Where are you going? Home eventually, Bobby. I'm not in California right now. I'm in Arizona. Oh, do you mean like, well, I'm gonna drive my car around? Well, I need to get something to eat, that's for sure, because I haven't eaten anything yet today. I'm probably gonna go to Whataburger, honestly. I miss it, baby. The two things I can't have that are out here is Whataburger. Okay, so listen up. Um, oh, okay. Liana says Borger Baby, which is to mean burger. What I thought Liana was saying was Borgor Baby, which would have been a very weird thing, and I would have had to ask Liana some questions about what she knew about me and Borgor's relationship, or at least what was our relationship. Anywho, um, okay, so there's this place called Smokes Poutine, right? And there used to be one up in the Bay, right? The Bay Area had a Smokes Poutineery. It's a place from Toronto. Also, there was one in Hollywood, and there was one in, I want to say, Berkeley, California. Um, on earth is Borgor? Uh, Anywho, Berkeley one closed. I didn't try it. Wow. Yeah, I know you did, Liana. Now listen up. Listen up, Liana. The Hollywood one closed. It was heartbreaking to me, right? Because when I was on tour last time in Canada, people were like, "You should go to Smokes. You should go to Smokes. We've got Smokes. We're so proud of it." And I was like, we've got that in Hollywood. I think I'm cool on your poutine for today. And I get back to Hollywood and Larson got out of business, so joke's on me. Anyways, and then people were like, "Oh, we have one up in the Bay." And I was like, oh, "Okay, next time I go up to the Bay, I'll go to that one." And then I go up to the Bay, and now that one's closed. And I was like, "Okay, are there any more in the States?" And there is. Last I checked, there's one in Arizona. And I'm going to maybe go there today. I'm going to try and see if it's open. Because I swear to you guys, I don't know how you guys feel about poutine, but poutine's like my whole thing. Poutine is like my whole thing. Anytime somebody can go, "Hey, we're going to give you carbs, meat and cheese, and then more carbs, and then extra carbs on top of those carbs, and you can make it spicy," I'm giving them all of my money in my checking account. And so I love poutine, and I haven't had smoked poutine since 2000. I want to say 18, guys, maybe 17 even. I'm dizzy. That's how sad I am. I'm so sad. I'm like nauseous. I live in Montreal right now, and nah, I'm good on the poutine. Yeah, okay, all right, Eddie. Brag away. It must be nice. By the way, Montreal's a really beautiful city. I'm kind of sad that the last time I was in Montreal, Eddie, I went during like late November because everything was so cold. But everybody in Montreal always talks about how dope their bagels are, and I didn't get it, but I went there and I ate like 9 of them or so, and I get it. I get it. Delicious. Kind of chewy? I don't know. Anyways, we're not talking about bagels right now. We're talking about poutine. I If this place is open, guys, and I go there and I get the poutine, it might be the only good thing that happens to me while I'm in Arizona. Um, wow. Um, yeah, sorry. Wow, I am actually dizzy. I never pegged you for a poutine guy, to be honest. Last time I had some, it wasn't that great. Um, hmm. Cyber, I do make a lot of fries when I'm at home, and gravy. I mean, it's just fries. Like if you make fries and you put stuff on it, usually I'll eat it. Chili cheese fries, I'm good with. Fry, fry. I just like for whatever the topping is to be slightly less than how much fries I have. I like to have more carbs than topping. But yeah, usually I kind of like fry anything, you know. Bobby says Isadora is so cute. Yeah, Isadora is gorgeous. I'm a chili cheese fries type of girl, so poutine always sounded awesome. Yeah. Uh, I never had poutine, but I heard you talk about it and dream, and I dream of poutine. I'm French. Eddie, I'm actually half French. Isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? Anywho, my aunt. That's why whenever I talk about, I guess I have maybe I haven't talked about France since Eddie's been in the stream, but my aunt lives in my aunt lives in Nice, and so I used to talk a lot about like going and spending time in France when I was younger, and mostly around the southern part of France because that's where family is. But yeah, that's why I was out there. Have I really not talked about this stream? I feel like I've talked about this like a lot in the stream. I talk about yeah, Nice is amazing. I love Nice. What? How? What? I knew some part. Oh, word. Okay, never mind then. Just forget it. I'm not French at all. I've also never been to France. I don't know what Nice is. I pronounce it nice. The only thing I know about France is poutine, and which isn't even French. It's more French Canadian. Poutine's nice. I'm gonna go eat some today. Hopefully. I hope it's not closed, guys. I hope it's not closed because quarantine's a thing now. Quarantine's a thing now, and I'm sad. I'm now in Costa Brava on a trip. I'm happy I catch the stream. I'm happy you caught the stream too, Isidore. I'm from around Paris. Paris is the most overrated place on earth. Ooh, I have a lot of bad things to say about Paris, but I won't say them in the stream. I did. Like 3 of my friends worked there at Liana, so yeah, they were all very upset when they told me. Mm, oh no. Okay, yeah. Let me not say anything bad about Paris. Isidore loves Paris, and I like Isidore, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about Paris. But um, I certain things about Paris I do like. I like how grimy it is because it reminds me of the areas that I grew up in. Um, but I think that I far prefer Nice, and maybe that's some type of familial bias because in Nice I feel like I knew more people and I had more friends and like an established place down there, so I enjoyed my time more. Whereas Paris felt like Times Square feels. Paris felt like Hollywood Boulevard feels. Basically, a place that tourists love and everybody flocks to, but when you actually go, it's like kind of dirty and underwhelming. Anyways, I'm done talking about France. I'm done talking about France. I'm done talking about France. Please, please, guys. I never want to talk about France again, ever. I just want to talk about Canada. I maybe like Montreal more than I like Paris. No, I definitely like Montreal more than I like Paris. I've never been to Paris before, says King Cake. Therefore, I don't know. The weather. What? What about French Canadians? Mm, mm, I don't want to talk about French people, guys. Please, please. I don't want to. I wish that I could show you guys how like weird and like lopsided my family tree is, but um, now is not the stream for that. Maybe no stream is ever the stream for that. What about Creole people? Oh, Bobby, no, 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 no. Bobby, have you ever been to Cote d'Ivoire? By any stretch of my imagination, have you been to Cote d'Ivoire? The thing about Canada that struck me when I visited was how clean it was. Word up, Dangerous Smook. I love your username. Cyber, somebody said something really funny to me. This is not directed at you. It was actually directed at me. But I said that, not talking about Canada, I was talking about Korea, but I said that, and this person who will remain nameless because people in the stream know them was like, you know what's funny about Americans? And I was like, what? And they're like, they said they're always so surprised by how clean the rest of the world is. It's just because your country's filthy. And I was like, oh, okay. Word up. Like even like within like our own country, people like go to Seattle and they're like, "Oh, Seattle's so clean." It's like, how dirty actually is the world supposed to be that I'm so impressed whenever like a sidewalk doesn't just have like gallons of copious amounts of pee on it and like trash and actual anyways, like just animals and stuff, like pigeons eating pizza. Like, why is any clean sidewalk? Like I'm like, did they just pave this? Why is it still gray? Why isn't there like gum and stuff all over it? It's funny. It's funny. I both took offense and also got some amusement out of that. I was like, yeah, that is like a thing Americans say a lot. We're like, it's so clean here. Wow, everybody's so polite. Anywho, I watched some pictures. Nisa, am I saying that right? Of Nisa, and I think or Nice, and I think of you because there was that tower that you mentioned on the stream some time ago. Oh, yes, 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 yes. New York is so gross. You just get used to it. Exactly, Umbe. I have been different room sets. Neobo. Neobo. I'm currently in Arizona visiting my parents. So yes, this is not only a different room, but a different home and state entirely. Um, uh, but you're right, Umbe. Since I love urban areas and I live in the states, I have been um, conditioned to a certain level of filth, right? Like you walk around LA and there's food, there's pee, there's pigeons, there's rats, there's roaches all over. And so when I do see the street right after they do the push room on it, I'm like, oh, fancy! I get to be the first one to walk on the new Golden Street. And it's not actually clean; it just doesn't have any visible filth on it. But yeah, I'm definitely conditioned to a certain level of filth. So much so that I almost enjoy it. I'm not saying that I like dirty things, but um, there's a familial comfort to it, I guess. Familial? No. Familiar. There's a familiar comfort of familial. But hey, I'm not related to Garb. Well, I am. Oh, that's mean. Hold on. My family's not watching this one. Anywho, I knew the U.S. was dirty, but when I went to Japan in high school, I was just enlightened. Like, we don't have to be this dirty. We really don't have to be this dirty. We don't. P says Bobby. I'm assuming because there's a lot of homeless people. Bobby, 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 Bobby E, Bobby E. No, no, Bobby. Not because there's a lot of homeless people. Because people just pee. You don't have to be homeless to pee on the street. People pee on the street constantly. Going throughout downtown Los Angeles, much like walking throughout Manhattan, public restrooms are very far and few between, or few and far between. They're just rare, is what I'm saying. And so a lot of people will just pee on the street, when no one's looking. And it's a very crowded city, so someone's always kind of looking. Okay, I wish you could move from the U.S. and go to the U.K. That place looks nice. As somebody that has been to the U.K., King Cake, I will say that it can be nice, much like the U.S. It's very similar actually to the U.S. in that there are places that are very nice, and there are places that are, just horrible. Um, but I would say that the UK beats the entirety of the US specifically just off of their public transportation because their public transportation is a lot doper. They are smaller though, something to keep in mind. They're smaller, so easier to have a good comprehensive metro system when you are covering less surface area, right? I'm not homeless. I be peeing like crazy, bro, says Eddie. Oh, I love Eddie. Everywhere, bro. Oh, I like Eddie. Eddie's won me over in the stream. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've peed in the street before. I mean, I feel kind of gross saying that in this particular stream because it seems like there's a little bit of judgment being thrown around. But I've definitely like peed. Maybe not on the street, like in the sidewalk, but I've peed out before. Let's just put it that way. I've peed out. I've peed out. There's been emergencies, and it had to come out somewhere. I wasn't gonna pee my pants. Um, my mom was raised in Jasper, Texas, and raised me to pee on the sides of roads. But that really, yeah, pee on the side of the road is fine. It's fine. Peeing on the sidewalk. I mean, there is no side of the road in downtown. Think about like downtown Los Angeles. There's not a lot of bushes. There's not a lot of side of the road. You know, if you can't make it to an alley, sometimes people just, you know, you kind of go to like a. I don't need to tell you guys how to pee on the sidewalk. You go to like an area where you're kind of like hidden, maybe like a little nook or something. How well do you know Eddie? Oh, not at all. I don't think. I don't think I know Eddie at all. Eddie lives in Montreal and they're French. I don't know this person. I've only been to Montreal once, and I don't know that Eddie was there. I'm gonna go ahead and bet all my money and say that Eddie was not at that show. Boys or girls go away, says Liana. Word up, boys or girls go away. I don't think it's weird or bad. I just think there's a setting for that. For sure, Bobby. I agree with you. There's places to pee, and subway seats ain't it. Nobody's saying pee on the subway seats, okay? Nobody's saying that. Well, someone somewhere, but no one in this chat is saying that. When he says maybe I'm just jealous because I can't, I think that here's the thing. Never pees in public swimming pool because I'm considerate. Same, I wouldn't pee in a public swimming pool. But the point that I'm saying is, I do a lot of things in my life to make sure that I don't have to pee when it's going to be inconvenient to me, right? Maybe if I know that I'm going to be walking around Manhattan, I don't, guzzle a bunch of water or drink a bunch of tea or something like that. But, sometimes I have had to pee in like areas where there wasn't a bathroom. And when you're just like, sometimes you're like, yo, it's either here or it's in my pants. I'm going to pee in my pants. I've reached the end. I've reached the end of it all. Sometimes you get a moment like that, and it's, it's do or die. Or rather, do or piss your pants. Are we cutting into your personal leisure time or day? Bobby, I have nothing to do. Which is like maybe one of the truest. It's one of the most. It's the time when that statement is the most true. I can't work. I don't have my studio. Can't hang out with friends. They don't exist here. Can't play video games. My PlayStation's at home. I literally can't do anything. I will go eat a cheeseburger, probably with bacon on it, at the end of this stream, and then I will figure out something with my car. Spend some time with my parents. But goodbye, Liana. Thank you for being on the stream. I hope you enjoy your work call. Don't miss out on that poutine. I will try to get some, hopefully, if they are still open here. I'm kind of pessimistic about it because of with quarantine being the way it is out here. Maybe they've closed just from a lack of business, but I don't know. I gotta think those places will see the release of this P. Ooh, I like the Cyber's little P song. Cyber's got a little PP song. Why are you in Arizona then? I explained this in yesterday's stream, but I'm here for like some complicated stuff with my car. I'm not really going to get into the particulars over it, but my car is registered in the state of California, so in order to renew the registration, I have to come out here to do that for my specific car because of emissions and everything like that. I really don't want to go outside, says Umbe. Battle with tropical storm. Wish I was in Alaska. Okay. Why did I get on pee in the streets? Oh, because, Americans are, I myself included, are really impressed when cities are clean. I was talking to my mom about this because my mom's never been out of the country. I said that I was going to save up money and take my mom to Japan. I didn't tell her about it, and I'm pretty sure she's not watching this stream because she's in the kitchen right now. So I feel like I can say this here, but I was saving up money because I really wanted to take my mom out there. Now my mom doesn't speak the language and stuff like that, but I feel like that feeling that I was talking about to you guys, where it's like when you go abroad, when you really go to a completely different country and culture, something happens in your head. I need to give that to my mom. I need my mom to understand that because I feel like my mom will come back here and then she will be able to just look at things slightly differently. But with quarantine and stuff like that going on right now, and me kind of burning through all of like my reserves and savings because I just can't tour like I was going to, I don't know if I'll have take mommy to Japan money anymore. Also, whenever we're able to even fly to Japan, I'm pretty sure that Japan doesn't want to see a U.S. passport right now, so that might have also killed my plans. But I really do want to give my mom that feeling sometime while I'm able. Okay. Whoa, I like that. I like that bar, Bobby. Bobby's also got bars. What was I saying? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, the reason is Lindsay was talking about going to Japan in high school, seeing how clean it is, and coming back. I didn't get to go when I was in high school, but I did get to go. Period. And I think, um, I think it's a cultural thing, right? Like, I think because Japan. Whoa! It just died. I don't know what happened, but I'm not gonna get too deep into this. For 2 hours in. America is an individualist society. Me, mine, my own. I, me, my, me. I, my, me, my, I, my, me. Does anybody remember that song? Getting sidetracked. Remind me to talk about that song at the end of the stream. But we're very individualist. Japan's very collectivist culture, more of a conformist society where people want to fit in with each other. People want to take care of each other. People want to make sure the greater good is being taken care of. America is more about my good, not the greater one. So, like going in Japan, you see people not only sweeping in their houses, but they'll actually sweep in front of their house. And shop owners will sweep in front of their shops because they're like, I have to take care of the way things look, and then the whole city will look nicer. We all take care of the front of our shop. And if there is a house that's not being cleaned or it's looking dirty out front, people in the community will actually clean it for the people who live there, which is more so of a like a shaming thing to go like, hey, get with the program, than it is like we'll take care of you. But it's still like they take care of their community. If somebody drops something, you pick it up. If you see something that somebody else has dropped, maybe you pick it up. You want to take care of you want to take care of everything. So I think that has a lot to do with it. Where it's like, yeah, we could keep things clean. We could take care of our vending machines. We could clean up after ourselves and after each other. But in America, we're just not culturally trained to care about others. For example, I was a caregiver when I lived in this house. I started by taking care of my grandma, and then I actually ended up getting certified, and then I used to work in rest homes taking care of the elderly. And then that transitioned into me taking care of kids with special needs and doing like DDD and becoming a habilitations technician, HabTech. I was doing a lot of that stuff. And every single time I would tell somebody that was my job in America, they're like, "Oh my God, that's so out of the kindness of your heart. What a warm-hearted person. Oh, that sounds so rewarding. How could you do that? Wow." Everybody was very impressed. But there are so many cultures around the world where the community just takes care of their elderly. It's not. Oh, I forgot that this place has a doorbell. I haven't heard a doorbell in years. What the heck? Um, sorry, what was I talking about? The community just takes care of the elderly. The community takes care of the children. If the children are walking, people don't have to be so paranoid about something happening to their kid because the community is like, I know that kid. I'm going to make sure that that kid's safe. It's a community. In America, we don't have that on a large scale. Mostly people just care about themselves and their family, and everybody else is like, you're on your own, dude. Dog eat dog, dog eat dog. Very competitive, very individualist. And so, yeah, things are just filthier here because people don't care about the greater good, yada, yada, yada. I feel like a lot of black neighborhoods had some of those collectivist vibes forever ago. Jesse. Oh, Jesse, yeah. That's how I grew up. Oh, Jesse, whoa. Okay, Jesse, this is. Remember, I don't know if you were in the stream a while ago and we talked about like how everybody was like coming down on me because I don't lock my door. This is, yeah, exactly what Lindsay said. This is that. Because of the community I come from, the black community that I come from, people took care of people. Police did. We didn't rely on the police because we knew, first of all, that police were more villains than they were a help, but you took care of your community. I knew that if I was going to walk and like loiter out front of like 7-Eleven, like me and Anthony and like Steven and Alex, when we were out there, the people knew us, so nothing happened to us. Nobody was going to come and snatch us up because everybody knew me. Everybody knew my parents. It was like there was a community there. And that is the reason why I could grow up in such a dangerous neighborhood, but I also could walk around on my own at like 12 years old. Versus now, where if anybody is like, oh my God, that kid got on a bus by themselves, it's like, oh, yeah, I come from a completely different bubbled community compared to the greater American thing. So, yeah. However, I should say that my block was filthy. It was It was not Japan. It was not like Japan. We were safe for us, for me, but it was not clean. No, it was not clean. Okay. Everyone would leave the garages open and just chill in them, says Bobby. I miss growing up with the Kool-Aid lady on the street, the candy. Oh, you're talking about my childhood now, Bobby. Ooh. I feel like I was born in the wrong time period when the black community comes up. It's different now. Talk about it, Umbe. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Umbe, I had a very depressing time. I've been very upset since I've been in Arizona. I don't want to talk about all of it, but I did go back to my old block because this is not the house that I really grew up in. I grew up in a much smaller, more rundown, meager, let's just say meager living situation. And I went by that community. And something that was so interesting about that community is sometimes you can see yourself in the kids where you're like, dang, like that was me. That was what I used to do. That's the kind of stuff that I was like eating and stuff. And it is a little different now. There used to be kind of like a code, you know. Now it feels more like a jungle. And I'm not saying that there was no worries at all when I was a kid in that neighborhood, but it doesn't feel as cohesive right now in my old block. Right now, my old block feels more like a jungle than ever, and so that's something. Anyways, it's funny because I used to be like lock your door on me, and now I'm like it sucks that I feel that way. No, I mean I don't want anybody to feel bad. I mean we all we're all different, and we all have like a world of different experiences, and so I understand why people want me to lock my door. I do, and all I hope is that they understand why I'm not. Living in Austin and being miserable because the black community out here is basically non-existent, and the restaurants are whitewashed. Bobby, do you remember when? Oh, you probably weren't in the stream. This was Instagram stream. I don't know if you were in an Instagram stream, but when I got back from South by Southwest, and I talked about how insanely racist Austin was, and I was like, that's insane that they're having a music festival right now that I played. I was on the bill, and like several of the shows I was playing didn't want to let me in, and I was like, it's me, like, and not even in some weird egotistical way. I'm like, that's my name, like on the flyer. What are you talking about? It's so weird. So weird. Almost got into so many fights, and I was like, how can you be like this? Isn't this like the most liberal part of Texas? How is it still this bad? Anyways, I hate so much they've allowed KKK on UT campuses, Bobby. Yeah, I was blown away by because everybody told me going into Austin, they're like, oh, it's not like the rest of Texas. It's like a blue dot in a red state. It's so great. Everybody is so liberal there, and I was like, oh, word. Um, and I got there, and it was like as bad as Arizona is, maybe even a little bit worse because people were also drunk a lot of the time. I mean, I was in downtown Austin. I should probably say that. I was like on 6th Street, so it's not like I was like, I'm done talking about this. But yeah, Austin can be rough. Anybody black in Austin, they love my love and prayers because being black in Arizona is kind of similar, not the same, but it's similar in that it's a mostly white desert cowboy ran town where there are pockets of Mexican people and pockets of black people, and that's kind of it. Houston is actually way more accepting, to be honest, and was recently rated one of the most diverse cities in the U.S. Interesting. Hmm. It's not that I feel bad per se, says Lindsay. I just never have lived in a place where I felt like the community was strong enough that I could leave my door unlocked, and I kind of wish I had that at some point. It's not too late for you, Lindsay. It's not too late for you. You can still have that community. Embrace it when you get it because boy is that stuff important. I lucked out that the cul-de-sac that I moved into is very similar to the area that I lived in when I was a kid, where it was like everybody kind of mixed everything. People are borrowing ketchup from each other. The kids are in somebody else's house. I'm hanging out in somebody else's house. John's gone. I'm going into like John's apartment to like get something or like feed the cat or something like that. It's like it is a community, and for the people that didn't have that growing up, I feel bad, but yeah, you can always still get it. What's interesting for me is I love small communities, but I also love urban spaces which usually don't go hand in hand, but sometimes you can get it. It's rare. It's like a Venn diagram of like big city, small town mentality, and like trying to find where the two things intercede. The projects is a good example of where they intercede, but I'm not going to talk about the projects because we're already 2:13 in, 2 hours and 13 minutes. I'm gonna start going over news, guys. This sound is pretty sick. I wish I had a I wish I had my mod wheel for it. Urban spaces are fine, says Dar. Oh, hi, Dar. Forgot you were in here. Thought you left. Urban spaces are indeed fine. Never give up on the dream, says Bobby. Yeah, I believe in Lindsay. Lindsay will find it. Urban spaces, close knit community is where I want to be. If urban spaces and a close knit community is where you want to be, and you don't mind that everybody in this space is white, I recommend Portland. See, guys, I'm able to recommend Portland. I don't hate Portland. It's just not for me, all right? It's just not for me. But if you love urban spaces and you love coffee and you love close knit communities and you love local theater and white people, Portland is heaven. Portland is heaven. If you love fusion food, where the two things that are being fused is white food and dark skin white food. Oh, can I talk about dark skin white people? I'm not going to talk about it. And we're at 2:13. Anyways, mostly joking. Portland does have some really nice things to offer. Just diversity is not one of those things. At least not right now. I'm sure it's changing every day. Guys, I have two bodies of work. I have a friend who is Asian and was adopted by white people. She hates Portland. Dar wants to know what dark skin white food is. Okay, okay. Oh no, dark skin white is a very, very complex. It's a very complex construct, and I didn't. I made it up for me. I'm sure a lot of people say dark skin white, but it's made up for me. I don't know how to say this without sounding weird, but I don't feel comfortable in predominantly white areas. No, I don't think that sounds weird. I know a lot of like white people that don't feel comfortable in white areas. I think I had a friend. I think I had a friend. No, I actually had a friend. I called her Doily, and she actually lives in this neighborhood. Well, her parents live in this neighborhood. She's probably moved away. I think she like married a dark skin white and then moved somewhere else. But anyways, um, she talked about being really uncomfortable in white spaces because white people, and I'm using that term loosely because this term isn't necessarily including people like Lindsay. I'm not saying this about you, but I'm saying that white people sometimes will, when they see that the room is white, they will be maybe a little whack because they're like, oh, there's no other people in here. And if you happen to be a white person in that space that isn't okay with that, it puts you in this awkward position where you have to like call out that person or address that person or be like, hey, I understand there's no black people here, but can you not say like stuff like that? Because I don't like it. And it makes you be like, it just puts you in this weird space. So I totally get that. 100% get that. So you saying that you don't like being in white spaces does not sound weird to me at all. That makes a lot of sense. Sorry. Anyways, dark skin white is something I made up because have you ever heard the term tall, dark, and handsome? Now, I'm stupid, but as a kid, I used to always hear like people like, I don't know, like a woman on Sex in the City be like, he's tall, dark, and handsome. And I was like, oh, wow, black people. They're talking about black people. Did you know that term actually is not about black people? I'm like really stupid. I thought that term was about black people. It's not. Anyways, it's not about black people. There are dark white people, and I didn't know that that was a thing. Um, like, I think it's like dark features, right? Like dark hair, um, maybe like olive skinned, tanned, or like dark eyes, you know. But it's not a black person. Tall, dark, and handsome is not Michael Jordan. Tall, dark, and handsome is like homie from Madman. What's his name? John Hamm? That's like tall, dark, and handsome. Darker features, tall, handsome. Anyways, people who bronze instead of burn. Yes. Um, so I mistook tall, dark, and handsome for tall, black, and handsome, which is never a thing people wanted, and um, was never a thing they were talking about. So when I said dark skin and white, oh, oh no. There's a lot of people who get a lot of cool like white people things, and they're like darker usually because they're mixed with something. Maybe they're like half Cuban or something like that, or they're like half Dominican, half white, and the white genes just went to town on their body, and so they're like maybe a little bit darker. But as far as society is concerned, they're just a really, really attractive white person. Um, they usually aren't a black person. Hey, what's up, crowd? Like Drake's baby, yes, like Drake's baby or Logic. I'm gonna stop clowning on Logic in the stream. Homie's retired. Shouts out to Logic. Anyways, not half Cuban, oh, half Puerto Rican, half Dominican. Point that I'm making. Point that I'm making is there are a lot of people that can um, exist in white spaces comfortably, um, but also have a like, oh, I'm actually half Puerto Rican, so they'll like put the Puerto Rican flag in like their Twitter bio or something like that. But then when it comes to like privilege, like they're actually okay. They're like doing okay. This wasn't meant to call out anybody in the stream. It's not meant to call out anybody you know. I know this sounds like really judgmental. It's not supposed to, but that's where the term dark skin white comes from. The term for me, dark skin white, is just like somebody who gets to do all the cool things like that white people get to do, but also get to be like POC on the timeline. And so dark skin white food, which is a completely different thing, dark skin white food to me is just white people making cultural food. It's like when you go into a place and it's like, welcome to, I don't know, welcome to, oh boy, okay, like welcome to like Sensei Miguel's or something, where it's like I don't know, it's like Mexican food and Japanese food, and then you get inside and there's a white person making all the things, and you're just like, how on earth? And he's like, yeah, so I used to go down to Mexico all the time in spring break, and it was great. And also, I went to college in Japan, and then I got home, and I thought it would be really cool to make a place called Sensei Miguel's. And it's like, what? And you eat it, and it's exactly what you think it tastes like. Anyways, the term POC is I kind of hate it because I don't think people realize it's an anti-black slur found in colorism. Woo! Bobby, don't get into it. Bobby, please don't get into it this late in the stream. We can't do that. We can't do that here. But yeah. It's I mean, Bobby, we can't do it now. We can't do it now. But that's a whole thing. That's a whole thing. Also, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it right now. We can't do race relations right now, but that is actually a very good point, Bobby. And that's why I feel really weird, because I feel like I spent. See, look, I'm getting into it. I'm not going to get into it. Well, we'll be ready for that conversation at a later date. But all I was explaining is what dark skinned white people are. And I think that there's a lot of people that will say, I'm light skinned, and I'm not gonna do that. Light skin girls, light skin girls. Who is that? That's everybody. That was the entire black community from like what, like 1985 to present. Like light skin girls, light skin girls. I think that light skin like a lot of times comes from like white people blood, guys. Right? Like, oh, if you put me and Ehi next to each other, I'm lighter than Ehi. I'm not lighter than Ehi because I get less sun, guys. It's because there's like white blood in me further, like less up than there is in Ehi, guys. When I say like I'm half French and it's like it's not because like my indigenous people were like just chilling in France. Like if you climb high enough up the ladder, there's freaking white people in my family tree. Isn't that whack? Anyways, so when people are like, "Oh, he's light skinned," they're like, "Oh my God, Drake is light skinned." I'm like, I don't know what that means. Do you mean white? Is that what that means? Do you mean half white? Because I think that's what that means. I think light skin is like a cooler way of saying white. I'm not French at all. I was just born there. Oh, see. Oh God, guys, my favorite name for those white people. Light skinned is, yeah, Bobby. Yeah. Oh, man. There's a whole thing, guys. There's a whole thing in the black community about, like, raising up. I mean, not even just in the black community, about most communities of color, COCs. There's, like, there's a lot of, like, praising light skinned people, right? Like, maybe you're Filipino, but, like, your light skinned Filipino friends are getting more of the opportunities. Maybe you're Hispanic, but your light skinned Hispanic friends all of Asia says Dar, yes, make it whiter, make it whiter. And like there was this whole like in the black community, it was like if you had a video, you'd put a lot of like light skinned girls in it. You would always rap about light skinned girls. You talk about light skinned girls. Oh, is she light skinned? She's super light skinned. And it's like really what it was mostly just white blood in there somewhere. And so it was like a lot of people that were just like still in a weird way praising white people are like, I kind of want to date a white person, but I can't date a white person. So maybe if I date a black person that is close to a white person, it's a win-win. It's really weird. It's really weird. And colorism is everywhere. Indeed, Lindsay. But it is interesting because, yeah, me and Ehi, technically, our families actually come from the same place. But there's a lot of stuff, like if you look at pictures of us next to each other and you look at our noses, there are a lot of things where you can look at me and go like, I can see where Eki's from, but something happened to Omni on the way. Something happened to Omni on the boat over or something because he's looks a little different here. Yeah. Especially in places that were heavily colonized. There are a lot of people that I know. Olu is another one. Olu is a really good friend of mine. Very good artist also. And our families are technically from the same place. Like, down to like the city, from the same city. But the big difference is mine got brought here and his were over there. So he had more of an immigrant trip and I had less so of that. And so you look at my face and you look at my nose and you can see kind of what happened. But definitely a story for a different stream. My Cambodian, says Eddie, friend, told me when an Asian had darker skin, it meant that they were farmers. So deemed uneducated, hence the colorism. Right. Spend more time in the sun, probably doing a lot of manual labor. Yeah, I could see absolutely where that would come from. That's why the gender swap pig challenge from like a few months ago irked me. Ooh, dar. People took enemy of trans misogynistic. Oh my god, yeah. Yo, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, this is a slippery slope. I hate to see something that maybe there's a spark of good in, but because you're a pessimist, because you're a realist, you look at it and you're like, oh, this is gonna get really bad really, really quick. Like, I can see what you're trying to do. I can see how this is supposed to be, like, cool, but, ooh, you guys didn't think this through. And then, for sure, you see it turn really bad. Oh, hi, Jayla. Isn't it possible to be light skinned could just be a result of evolution when people move further from the equator, but not far enough to become white? This is valid, Jayla. Maybe. I just know that that's not the case for my path and so many others. But yeah, this could be a thing. It's just really interesting, right? Because I mean, we look at people that are even really far away from the equator, like the people that were like in Canada, or the people that were in Alaska that were already there, and they're actually pretty dark. But I know that it's not a one to one. Everything's very. I mean, right? Like Inuit people, they're not light. They're not white or anything. Anyways, he repackages a black aesthetic for white. Audience says Dar, talking about Bruno Mars. That's why everybody loves Bruno Mars. That's why everybody loves Uptown Funk. which is wild because we all know Bruno Mars's ethnicity, and homie is not black. It's interesting that somebody who isn't black can take black culture and then sell it to the masses, and it's so acceptable and cool. But I mean, that didn't start, nor will it end with Bruno Mars. Um, isn't he neither white or black? Yeah. He's crap. Filipino and something else? I don't want to guess on the second half. I don't want to guess on the other half because I'm probably going to be wrong. But yeah, he's definitely not black. Make no mistakes. Bruno Mars is not black. I wish more people were like y'all. I hate going to school and having to hear people say the most homophobic stuff and all lives matter and stuff like dark skinned girls are too loud for me. Holy crap. The take, dark skinned girls are too loud for me. Yikes, alright. It's like it's just completely okay at school. Teachers don't care. I feel you, Zeph. That was kind of my experience in school as well. I feel like I've carved out an okay space, right? You guys are pretty cool. I think he's just a lot of Pacific Islander. Word dog. I mean, I looked it up on Wikipedia one time, what his actual background was, but yeah, there's definitely some Pacific Islander in there. I thought he was Hawaiian, says Jayla. Oh, crap. I mean, that's an island in the Pacific. Yeah, I mean, probably. But I think the point that we're all making is he's definitely not black. Okay, alright. So the teacher's in front of their gay students. I think it's an opinion, says Dar. In the voice of their teachers, Dar doesn't say this. Dar's teacher says, I feel bad for you, Dar. I had a lot of similar stuff going on in the school that I was in, where it was just like, people would say some pretty racist stuff, and there was kind of no... For example, Dar, in my high school career, a kid would say something to me extremely racist, like call me a monkey or something like that in the locker room, and I would get in a fight with that kid, but I would be the one that would get in trouble. I would be punished, and the other kid would be fine, for a lot of reasons I don't need to get into, but I feel you, Dar, and I hope that that environment doesn't tarnish you too much. Jesus, yeah, doesn't sound good. Zev says, people at schools and institutions act like they care so much about making everyone feel welcomed and being anti-racist and stuff, but they don't take any necessary action. For sure, Zev. I just don't think they care on the grand scheme of things. It's like, it's a job. Colonization really screwed things up, says Lindsay. Indeed. For example, just look at Asia and then look at Southeast Asia. Vietnam versus Korea, or Philippines versus Japan. It's weird what colonization can do. Had several races experience in marching band, and a kid said something. Oh my god. Yeah, I had something to learn from it. Yes, Dar. Yes. Yeah, Jesse. Oh, I forgot how real Jesse is. Yeah. That's why Yeah. Okay, word out. Alright, well, we bummed out the entire stream. I'm glad there's some black people in the stream, though, so I'm not, like, sitting in a... Because there's way too many times, particularly where I live in LA sometimes, where I am the resident black person. And so if anything is an issue, I have to go, well, this actually sucks. And I say it to all these other people, and they're like, I don't know if that's true. I had a black girlfriend 6 years ago, and she wasn't that bothered by that. And then I'm just kind of like, oh, I guess, yeah. So I'm glad that there's at least a few black people in the stream to validate whatever I'm saying. I did say yes, Bobby. I said yes, Dar asked, I think, and I said yes, Dar. I'm somewhat used to it at this point. It's just taking the fun out of the band and a lot of school settings. I feel you, Zev. Can we talk about K-pop and how they repackage black culture, says Eddie, and also how they play the fetishization with Asian bodies by having their performers get true aesthetic surgeries to appeal more to the Occidental idea of Asian beauty. Yeah, I've talked about this actually in the stream, Eddie. I talked about this in the stream because while I was in Korea, if anybody in Korea is watching this, I still would like to come back. While I was in Korea, I got the opportunity of actually learning a lot about writers' camps out there. And if you don't know what a writers' camp is, usually for K-pop, they will fly out a lot of producers either from New York, Los Angeles, and or Sweden, or Scandinavia in general to come out and produce, like speed produce a bunch of tracks, and that's how K-pop is able to come out so fast. We all know that K-pop stars aren't writing, producing, and making all their own music and choreographing their dances. It is a group effort. It's a machine, and so I got to see a writers' camp. It was very enlightening and also very upsetting in a lot of ways. But in one of the ways that it was upsetting is that you were hearing a lot of black sounds coming out of K-pop, right? You're hearing a lot of black slang. You're seeing a lot of black dances. You're seeing a lot of black fashion. But when you actually look at the people behind the people that are putting it all together, they're like dudes from like Norway and Sweden and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, interesting. It's like so many levels of removal. It's somebody from Europe seeing black culture and then flying, black culture in America, and then flying out to South Korea and then like monetizing that through a bunch of Korean teenagers who, as you said, yes, have had a lot of plastic surgery and other things in order to make them more palatable to a global audience. And then a lot of black people are seeing it and going like, what? Like, this is so like, what exactly, like, what's happening? Am I having a stroke? I hate that joke, but it feels like that sometimes. Hold on. I'm like looking up something really quick. Uh, mm, that's so insane. Shiny. You guys know that song "Shiny Good Evening," right? This is so unnecessary, by the way. This is also probably not news. This will probably not be news to any of you guys. Oh my god, I've missed so many things in the stream. I'm not gonna read up on a lot of this. But here. If you listen to Shiny's song, Good Evening, and then you listen to 112's song, Cupid, they are essentially similar. Yeah, Zeph knows what I'm talking about. Zeph knows where I'm going. But it's like essentially the same song. Now, it's legal and everything that they did, 112 has seen it. But the point that I'm going to make here is that this was a song that was written a very, very long time ago. But, it's a black R&B song. And it has been repurposed years and years later. I don't know, maybe 20 years. I'm not going to look up the dates exactly, but it's a pretty old R&B song. It's been repurposed and put into K-pop. And sold to people that aren't necessarily, let's say some of them are black. I know there's a lot of black K-pop stands, but sold, to a much larger audience. And it's weird to me that culture can be that far removed without any like callbacks or references or, it's just weird. They don't realize that it comes from black artists. Exactly, Zev. Exactly. And so I feel like a lot of times in culture, black people will be like really loud, going like, "Yo, we did that. We invented that," and then the entire rest of the world will be like, "What are you talking about? Like, no, you didn't. This guy did it. Freaking Weird Al. He made that song." And we're like, "Are you kidding? Like, look." And then we'll like show them the proof. But it's the culture just gets so far removed. I think that I think that in black culture, or let's just say in the black world, as a black person, you're not seen as great, right? The global opinion of you is pretty it's pretty low. People don't particularly like black people or care about them in large numbers, and so because of that, it's like the only thing that was able to make black people kind of valuable in a large way was our culture, our art, our food, our fashion, our dances, our music, like all those things, our vernacular, our language, everything about it. It's like, well, this thing will help pump up our value, right? Like, and the weird thing about it is it feels like the culture, that cultural value has been removed, and so the world can still be okay with distrusting or disliking or disrespecting black people because they see black people as being completely separate from um, I don't know, dabbing or the shoot dance or R&B or jazz or hip hop or K-pop, or I could go on like a long list of things. It's weird. And it seems impossible, but it's very possible and it's happened. Okay, anyways, I think we all should dead this whole Stan thing, in my opinion, says Eddie. It's really corny to me. Hate the idolization of celebrities. Right. You're level-headed, Eddie, so you're able to see that, but a lot of people can't see that. And so Stan culture, I feel like, will even get worse. I think it's going to get worse before it gets better. If it wasn't on the internet, I feel like we would be in the process of losing hip-hop right now, too. Oh my god, Jesse. Yeah. Oh, nice callback, Jesse, by the way. Hello, Kiwi. Good morning. Welcome to what should be the winding down and ending of the stream. Um, what's funny is that people use the word stan wrong. Well, because being a stan isn't a good thing. Well, okay, no. Here's the thing. Yes, being a stan isn't a good thing, but if you can remember, Stan thought it was. The original Stan, like, he did think he was doing a good thing. But everybody around Stan could have recognized that he was a fool. And I think it still touches true today. Like, K-pop stans do really think, they're like, if I don't post about BTS today, Like, a friend of mine, who will go unnamed, also got, Stan was a person. Okay, Eminem invented the word stan, Jayla. If you listen to Eminem's song titled Stan, crap, is the name of the song even Stan? You've definitely heard the song, Jayla. Wait, Stan's... Are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. Let me take some of the judgmental tone out of my voice. Because I know you guys are joking, says Cyber. Yeah, no, Cyber. No, don't. Cyber. Because I almost had the same exact reaction. I understand that a lot of people just aren't super, whatever. I'm not going to insult anybody in the stream that doesn't know where Stan came from. But Eminem has a song called Stan that came out a long time ago, and you've definitely heard it. You haven't not heard this song, because the world heard this song. It was a very big song. You also are calling people K-pop stans, ha ha ha, so you're using a term that Eminem invented. And something very funny is a lot of people will hate on Eminem while simultaneously using daily a term that he gave to the vernacular. Anyways, point is, Eminem invented the word stan in a song literally titled Stan. In the song, there was basically a super Eminem fan. You can listen to it if you want to get the whole story. But he raps from the perspective of an Eminem fan and him being Eminem. Stan is not a good thing. And today, Stan still is not a good thing. We can look at K-pop stans and go like, oh, they're not good. These are not healthy people. They're wild. But to them, just like the Stan in the Eminem song, they do think not only are they good, but they think that they're necessary. They think they're necessary to the artist. They're like, I'm a warrior for you, dog. Like there's people, if I tweet today, BTS doesn't even write their own music. They whack. Now, first of all, that's true. They don't write their own music. They're whack being more of an opinion. But people would argue with me that they do. People being BTS fans. They'd be like, no, they write it all. They're so talented. Jimin, I love you, Jimin. And they would attack me. Does BTS care about my tweet? No. Is BTS going to lose fans over my tweet? No. But their stans feel so vigilant in protecting these strangers that they will attack me over it. And anyone. Yeah. So, that is a thing, Lindsay. I saw somebody use the word child, but they use it as if it was a sub for the word chill. They're like, yo, you need to chill. And I was like, whoa! How do you get that wrong? How do you get... Anyways. Anywho. Also, there's a lot of misattributing of slang, by the way. Sometimes people will use slang like it's a new black thing, or it's specifically from like people will even say things. They'll be like, "That's from like drag culture," which I know they do have their own terms. But I'm like, yo, my grandma was saying that when I was a kid, and my grandma was not part of drag culture. That's just a black person thing. You can just like it can be okay for a word to just be black slang. Okay, anywho. Uh, 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 uh. Child is so old. Child is extremely old. Thank you, Bob. It's super old. I'm near grandma was a drag queen. I do like that joke actually. I like that because specifically, I think that that does like break some people's brains, where they're like, no, actually, this term actually comes from drag culture. It was popularly used in Detroit by this. See, this person like post an article, and I'm like, my grandma was using that. So unless my grandma invented drag culture, like you're wrong, I guess. But I do think that is it's always funny to like look at like two white people on Twitter argue over where the word child came from. And I'm like, what the? It's just the word child, guys. It's not. It's not even like inventive. It's like saying whiling out. You just take the D off of it. You just take the D off. Wild child. Come on, guys. Okay. Anywho, that's it. That's it. That's it. We can't do this anymore. Guys, I have two releases out. One's called Ego Death. The other one's called Quick Breath. You can find them on Bandcamp. You can find them on. Now we're gonna do normal piano. Bandcamp, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, Amazon MP3, Tidal, Groove, Deezer, Pandora, Napster, and YouTube. We're on YouTube right now. So if you haven't heard it, please go listen to it. My grandma was the blueprint. I miss my grandma. This is my grandma's bedroom, by the way. When my grandma moved in and I quit my job to help my mom take care of her, she was in this room, which is just down the hall. You can't see the door, but just through this door, it's like, I don't know, 15 feet, and then my room, or my old room. And so, yeah, shout out to my grandma. Um, this is not a stream dedicated to my grandma, but she was like huge for me. My grandma actually is the one that encouraged me to drop out of college, and my grandma is the one that kind of didn't make me move to Arizona, but like I talked to everybody about moving. I mean, to LA. I talked to everybody about moving to LA, and they're like, "You need to get it together. You need to get a job. You need to get an apartment out there." I remember talking to my grandma, and she was just like, "You just do it. Just do the thing." She was like, "If you're young, just go out there. If it doesn't work out, you can go anywhere else." She was like, "Your dad went everywhere. He hasn't only lived here. Your mom's lived several places. I've moved all over. Just go places. You don't need to be here." And it was wild coming from her because like she needed to be taken care of. So for her to tell me to leave, I was like, "Oh, okay." And I left. She was great. Not too long after I left, she did end up passing away, which was like sad, but it wasn't as sad as it could have been, I suppose. She did tell me to leave. She told me. Um, she ended up passing away, and I ended up writing a song for her. I wrote a song for her called "Immortal" that was off of Tall Tales. So yeah, she's good people. She's good people. She was very weird to me in the spirit of like race relations and stuff like that. All that awful stuff we were talking about. My grandma's seen some like awful stuff. Like I mean, I talk about. I mean, not all of my friends are alive. Unfortunately, I have friends who have passed, and not from old age or from natural causes. Like they're gone. They were like taken from me, and unfortunately, I had to see stuff like that, and it kind of messed me up as a kid. Maybe I'm still messed up as an adult because of it. But that being said, my grandma saw much worse, and somehow still like when she was like 100 years old, still was like able to like believe in people and like trust them, which is weird to me because like the old like trope of like the dude that's like, a girl broke my heart when I was 13 and now I just can't trust any women. Like the fact that my grandma saw like the most bonkers stuff happen to her and then was still able to like laugh at all at anything ever is like wild. Anyways, Jesse says like anecdotal from a black grandparent perspective. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm. Most of the ones I know are older black people who really had to live through this stuff. The scars are intense. Yeah, she would tell me some stuff. She would tell me some stuff, and I would just be like, "Oh, I don't know that I'd ever, yeah, be chill after that. Like, I don't know if I'd ever be able to like look at like a white person in the eyes and be like, "Good morning." I don't think. I think that I would lose that. I think I would be like, "Nah, I'm good. I think I'm good on all you guys now." But like, yeah, some really awful stuff. And like, same thing. I mean, same thing for me. I've seen some stuff happen where it's like, and I've, you know, I'm still cool. I'm still cool. I haven't forgotten. You know, like I said, I went to like my old neighborhood where I was, and it was just like, dang. The only people like from like the group of my friends, like my little friend group, is like me and Anthony. Me and one of my other friends are still alive, and it's like I do think about that a lot. Where it's like, dang, that's not normal. I see a lot of people like talk about their childhood friends. They're like, oh, we've been friends since like third grade. And I'm like, I don't have any of those. They're literally all dead except for Anthony. Except for Anthony, which I'm probably gonna see tomorrow. So that should be exciting. But yeah, it's like people are pretty resilient. If there's anything that all this like whack sad ending of the stream, it's like people are pretty resilient. You can kind of come back from most things. Not unchanged, but yeah, you can come back. Been really enjoying the streams lately, whether it's super discussion heavy or very music focused, like some of the last ones I was in. Thanks for these, Omni. It's almost therapeutic. Oh, thanks, Steph. Thanks for being a part of it. It's catharsis, says Dar. Hmm. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. Um, yeah, my grandma was good. That's weird. Also, when I left, when I moved to LA, my grandma was 101. So she did. I mean, she had a long, she had a long minute. You know, she was around for a minute. So yeah, that's weird. That's weird. Mm. Don't want to get sad in the stream, but I do miss my friends. I do miss my friends a lot. I was like, out of all of my friends, I was definitely like, I would say the weakest. No, I was like the second to the weakest of all my friends. They were all way tougher than me, and so the fact that I was the one that ended up surviving is like doesn't make any sense. Okay. All right. Okay. I went through the platforms. There's really no news, guys. I'm currently stranded in Arizona. I'm stranded out here, so nothing too exciting is going to be happening for the next couple days. I just hope that I can get home before the production stream. Sooner would be better, but I can't do a production stream from here, so I got to get home by Friday. 101 is a good run. If only I could be that lucky. She actually died at 102, but she was just 101 when I moved to Los Angeles. But yeah, stranded. You're at home. This is not my home anymore, Downer. Ooh, I'm gonna talk about it in tomorrow's stream. But for a lot of reasons, if you leave home, quote unquote, home for long enough, it doesn't feel like home anymore. And I will say, LA has both weakened me in ways. It's strengthened me up in ways, but in some ways coming back to Arizona in very very shallow ways, like experiencing 118 degrees was like actually painful for me again. And I was looking out of my car at the people that were like walking around and riding their bikes. And I'm like, how are they doing that? Even though that was me literally before I moved to LA. So the Arizona heat was hard coming back, but now I'm back acclimated to it. And another thing that was hard is in LA, people are kind of chill. Kind of chill. And Arizona, it's like very different. There's a very specific brand of racism in Arizona. This like kind of cowboy racism that isn't too unlike the racism that I experienced in Austin. And it's like going from Los Angeles to being thrust back in that all of a sudden was like it was like whiplash for a second. I was like, oh crap, that's right. You can just say that here, and that's like not like weird. Like no one's gonna give you like a second look or something like that. Or like, oh yeah, you can just like physically behave that way. Like and in Los Angeles, I walk into a place and I'm like one of the most normal looking people because I don't have like tattoos or weird piercings or dyed hair or something like that. But walking into a place in Arizona, it's like conversations stop, and so that's fun. Anywho, I've been in Montreal for 3 years now. I feel 15 years older, bro. Oh man, yeah, Trump signs everywhere. It's a thing. Um, I'm gonna go spank some people in Arizona. Kiwi, it blocked your comment. I assume because you said the word spank, which is really funny. Um, I'll take Detroit winters over Arizona summers entirely. Ooh, Jesse, Jesse. Jesse, wow. I actually don't know which I choose. I'm doing the, okay, I'm like, would I rather walk down the street? Would I rather walk to 7-Eleven, like 3 blocks and freezing cold? Or do it in oppressive heat? And my body wants to say the cold, right? Because I can always put more clothes on and bundle up. But that's rough, actually. Detroit can't be that cold, can't, says Jayla. And to that, I laugh. Ha 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 ha. Yes, it can. Jesus Christ, Detroit is a nightmare as far as cold. I know people live there and they are used to it, but Jayla, do not underestimate the cold in Detroit. It hurts. It physically hurts. I can go sit out in my car and I can get hot, and it'll hurt if I touch the seatbelt, like, ooh, ow. And, ow, leather seats. It'll hurt in that way, but the heat doesn't necessarily hurt me. I just start sweating. The cold in Detroit hurts me. It hurts me inside, like my bones. I'm like, oh, pain. Yeah. Anyways, you get used to cold pretty fast, bro, says Eddie. Eddie, who lives in Montreal, which is also oppressively cold. Montreal is not too far from Detroit, actually. I, actually, am I getting those two mixed up? Montreal, Toronto. Montreal, Toronto is closer to Detroit. Toronto is closer to Detroit. My bad. Is it? Anyways, they're both cold. They're both very cold. Montreal was also very cold. The only reason I'm emphasizing Detroit is because it's in my country. Okay. I get the burning weather. Car went 100 out. You're wearing your shorties. Dar, this is why at a certain point in the summer I'm just like, okay, it's host season now. Ugh, I love host season. Arizona has a host season. I was supposed to end the stream, guys. I had to reach for the seatbelt and be like, okay, so like Arizona. Another thing that I forget about Arizona is everything's a water park, guys. Our golf courses have water parks on them. Our putt-putt courses have water parks on them. Our arcades have water parks out back. Apartment complexes have water slides. There's pools and water everywhere. So much so that if you're just driving around, you just smell chlorine because everything is a pool. And I remember that was the one thing that was cool about Arizona. Yeah, like people were skimping it. People were dressed nice. It was chill. It was chill. Go to a water park all the time. Industry morning. Thanks, Cyber. And in a particular moment in my childhood that I'm not proud of, me and my friends, the ones I mentioned kind of earlier, we used to go and hop the fence of Sunsplash, which is a water park out here, and then we would hop the fence, get a Little Caesars pizza, sneak it in, and then just look at people in bathing suits. And I know that sounds disgusting and creepy, but I mean, you're like 9, 10 years old, so it's not as creepy when you're a little kid, I think. That's all we would do. Wow. We just sit around, eat pizza, and like look at girls. Eventually we'd get kicked out, you get found out, and they're like, these kids snuck in, you kick you out, but before they would, it was sick. Anyways, my first time at MTL, when I experienced 5 below for the first time, I thought I was about to die, but after going through the winter, -5 felt heavenly. Yes, humans are resilient. Remember when I said that earlier? Felix says, could you perform an improvisation of your favorite words interpretation? You're not the first person to ask for this, actually, Felix. But it's not something I know how to do. Usually the words come after the improv. I can't put words usually to improv. I just kind of like play random stuff. Hmm. Sounds like typical kid stuff. Yeah. I was sick. I was sick. Um. Hmm. How does the word idyllic make you feel? I always helped me as a pianist. Really? I think I'm a different type of pianist. I think my improvs don't have direction. Unfortunately, like if somebody was like, play me something happy, play me something romantic, I don't know that I'd be able to do it because if I don't know if you've been in Felix for a lot of my improvs, but they kind of go random places. Usually, I'll end up on a similar note. Usually, I feel like I end with like a jumping jaybird or something. You sound surprisingly classical, says Felix. Oh. Hmm. As improv should be, in my opinion, they're an expression and extension of self. Hmm. Indeed. I agree. I agree. Hmm. Oh, boy. Summers in Arizona. Painful and mischievous. I miss LA. Anywho, I think that does it for the news. I'm stranded here. Dar says I'm at home. This doesn't feel like home. This is my parents' home. I am indoors. I can give you that much, but I am not home. This is this is not my home. I will probably, guys, be streaming here tomorrow. Even if I do get my car fixed by the end of today, I don't like doing overnight drives. I've done them, and I will do them again in my life, but if it's up to me, I prefer to drive wee hours of the morning. I like to drive while the sun's coming up, so I would like to leave here at like 4 a.m. That's when I like driving. Um, some of us have to look at titties more discreetly, says Lindsay. I was pretty discreet. What's more discreet than sneaking into a water park and pretending to just be hanging out with your friends? Uh, I would like to think that none of them even know I exist. That's kind of weird. That's what's so weird. People don't. I don't like the use of the term broke here. I don't like broke into water park. Broke into water. There was zero breaking. Okay, nothing was broken. The chain link fence was fine. No, Sam, I'm currently visiting my parents. This is my parents' place. It's not a new place for me, but it is a new place for the stream, I suppose. Um, yeah. Yeah, sneaking into a water park. I mean, if I had money, Lindsay, I would have paid to get into the water park. If that changes things any. If I could afford it, or my parents could afford it, I would have paid to get into the water park and then actually got into the wave pool. But I was still probably gonna look at a boob here or there, and I couldn't be obvious about it. I mean, I guess I could have. You can be obvious about anything you want to be, but I mean, I didn't. But wrong chord. Wrong chord. Wrong chord. Boobs are dope. I'm with Omni here. I no longer like them, Umbe. Maybe this is like too. Yeah, this is too much on the stream. I know, but I will since it's already come out of my mouth. Umbe, I don't like them anymore. It was a thing that I think I liked when I was a kid because I feel like I was conditioned to like them, but I kind of don't care about them anymore. That's not to say I dislike them. I just don't care anymore. They're just there. I like chicken breasts. But that's more of a food thing. There's no sexual connotation there. This stream's run out of useful conversation, it seems. I'm talking about chicken breast now. Guys, thank you for being, and what, like, this isn't, I know this isn't the normal setup, so thank you guys for being really patient with it. Oh, sorry, I read Zeph's comment. I'm not letting YouTube block everything. I'm just letting YouTube block everything out. It's okay, alright. What was I saying? Yeah, thank you everybody for being patient with the stream. I know the setup isn't ideal. Hot take, chicken thighs are better. I don't actually think that's a hot take. Actually, no. Okay, it's not a hot take to me, Jayla, but I think it is a hot take for the world. The world does like the breast more because of the white meat, I suppose. I like both of them. It just depends on what I'm eating. If I'm eating a sandwich, I prefer a chicken breast. Maybe if I'm making like a quesadilla, I'm going to go with the thigh, go with the darker meat. Yeah, so, yeah, okay, Seb's bad. I don't like boobs anymore. Thank you, everybody, for being very, very patient with this. I actually feel like I got some good sounds out of it today. It wasn't as much of an improv stream as it ended up being more of a conversation stream. I'm just glad that I'm able to continue this and not have a huge gaping hole in the morning medley schedule. So thank you guys for being here, because you don't have to, right? You could have tuned in and been like, he's still in Arizona. We want to wait for the good streams to come back. Crow says breasts are better for toppings. Chicken as a topping. I guess I've had chicken as a topping, maybe like in poutine. I've had like chicken with poutine. Yeah. Chicken on top of pasta. Yeah, I don't really do that, Crow. But you're right. I guess that is a topping. Somehow, Crow, when something's in a pasta, I don't consider it topping. Like when they're like spaghetti and meatballs, I wouldn't consider meatballs a topping in that case. Maybe that's just my weird. That is me just being weird. I only think of toppings in terms of pizza. Yeah. But indeed, thank you everybody for being respectful to me. Because even with the conversation going more towards serious, sad things like race and more, I guess, jokey things like me sneaking into a water park, you were all respectful to me and you were all polite to each other, and I do appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you, Cyber, for all of your moderation work. Admin? What's the difference? Wrench work. I'm going to say wrench work. Thank you for all your wrench work. I appreciate it, and I think everybody in the stream also appreciates it. Maybe I'll make chicken today. Slap some rub on. Yeah, I usually don't do dry rubs myself, but maybe one day. Legs low-key toned. Oh, who's saying that? Oh, it's Zeph. See, now I'm all self-conscious. All right. I work out. But thank you, Zeph. I'm just going to take that as a compliment and not be uncomfortable. I could go full Dr. Umar, says Eddie. Anya. But I'm staying calm. I don't know who Dr. Umar is. So, is that you? Is your last name Umar? Eddie Umar? Are you a doctor? Crow says, if you sprinkle cheese on top of your spaghetti and meatballs, that's a topping. Facts. I'm not arguing with you. Crow. I think you're right. I think that just in my brain, I don't see toppings like that. This is why you don't wear shorts, says Umbe, ever. Can't just be complimenting. I wear shorts to every stream. It's just usually the keyboard's so big you guys don't see them. Okay, alright. Yeah, I don't know who Dr. Umar is. I'm sorry, Eddie. I honestly don't. You can tell me really quickly before I close the stream. Who is Dr. Umar? Zeph's getting ready for work, though. I'm headed out. Have a nice rest of the day, y'all's days, everybody. Aw. I hope you have a prosperous week as well, Zeph, especially if I don't see you in a future stream. But thank you for being in this one. I do really appreciate you. Men who have their knees out are hoochie, says Eddie. I'm a hoochie society. I use the word hoochie way too often. Um, I don't want to see videos of this person. I don't want to see videos of this person. People staring at my legs is the only thing that gets to me. I feel you, Umbe. I didn't wear shorts for a really long time because I was self-conscious about my legs for reasons I won't really get into. But, you know, live in Arizona, it gets freaking hot, so I caved. Dr. Umar Johnson. Umar. Yeah, anywho, yeah, thank you, everybody. I'm going to be probably here tomorrow, like I said, because I don't think that I can, even if I fix the car right now, I don't think that I could say my goodbyes and get home to Los Angeles comfortably by 9 a.m. tomorrow morning and still get a night's rest, so I probably won't do it. Um, mm, the gams are okay, Kiwi. I have to keep them. I just try to stay in shape, guys. I just try to stay in shape. It's too easy. Here's the thing. These are not glamour muscles, all right? I'm not showing off. I mean, I have a close friends on Instagram. I'm not stupid. I know where those things go. I know where the booty pics go. But I'm not. That was a joke. I'm not putting booty pics on my close friends. But mostly it's just because, guys, I sit down a lot. It's sad, but especially with quarantine, like even before quarantine, it's like sitting on the subway, sitting on the bus, sitting on the train. I do walk around downtown, but it's like as a music producer, you're sitting and playing piano. If you're not touring, you're sitting kind of when you work on your craft. Other artists can like agree with this. And so mostly I work out because I feel like I don't want to one day be like middle aged and then be like, how did I get to this point? I've got to turn it around and then like try to get my body in shape. I just want to like upkeep body, I guess. But yeah. Yeah, I gotta stay in shape. I don't have my weights here. My dad does have a gym. He turned my little sister's bedroom into a gym, so maybe I'll use that. Okay, Jesus, fifth time, farewells. Thank you everybody so much for being respectful to me and polite to each other. I will be here again tomorrow at 9 a.m. to keep things traditional, I guess, keep things going. Hope to see you there. If not, please enjoy the rest of your week. And I will. Wow, yeah, my battery's gonna die anyway. Please enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. I promise. Yeah. Habo, everyone. Oh, crap! Whoa, thanks, Cyber. Whoa, right at the end? Heavens. Okay. Vogue says, going back to the OG Omni Boy where the gloves were a selling point? Question mark? You going back to the OG Omni Boy where the gloves were a selling point? What are you talking about, Felix? You legit about to close the stream without Hush? Yeah. Sorry, Crow. I almost did it. But I haven't done it yet, guys. I am consistent. But I keep almost slipping. They were how I found you years ago. You found me through gloves? That's wild. You didn't find me through music? Felix. How? What? Sorry. I sound irate. I'm not irate. I'm just perplexed. How did you not find me through my music? Nah, it was a musical boomer. Yes, Felix. What are you saying? What is happening? Yes, Felix. Musical boomer. Do you not remember the She era chiptune eras? Music exploded? What are you... What? Wait. Music exploded. Musical boomer. Felix, are you saying that you found me through my chiptune music? Is that what you're saying? I give you permission to do that, crowd, actually, if you want to do that. You have my consent. But not necessarily. It was more jazz infused with electronic, more new funk EDM. And you. So you did find me through my music. I like Felix. Wow. I think maybe yes, but it was nuanced towards chiptune. It was of that era. Okay, okay, okay. I think I follow you. You're talking about Nice Dream. You probably listened to like Bon Bon, Jolly Pop, or like Sugar or something like that. So you did find me through my mute. You saying in 2010? Whoa. Okay, I'm lost again. That okay? That's a good clean 5 years before those songs came out. Hmm. All right. I You found me through. Let's just say you found me through chiptune. Um. That's safe. But then you're saying. But then you said that the gloves were a selling point. Wouldn't the music then be the selling point? I don't know. I can't. I feel like I'm. I feel like I'm even too malnourished. I feel like you're probably what you're saying. What that was that Scorpion? I feel like what you're saying probably isn't very confusing, but for some reason I'm very confused. How do you find a stranger on the internet? Says Felix. Oh, you're just saying gibberish on purpose now. Yeah, you're that. Those aren't real words. Oh, I don't even know what Miracy 8 is. I, I don't. I don't know. I'm hungry, and I'm hungry, and I appreciate you, Felix, because 2010 was a very long time ago, and I don't know what Scorpion is. When you said was that Scorpion, I don't really know what Scorpion is, but I appreciate you for having listened to lots of tabs ago. You say I appreciate you for okay. I appreciate you for having listened to Night Stream and all that stuff. I really do. And thank you for being in this stream. I'm so sorry that something's wrong with me and I couldn't understand what you were saying. Um, I'm so sorry. But I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys. I hope that I see you in a future stream, maybe when I'm fresh and at the beginning of the stream and I'm more. And maybe when I can understand things better. But for everybody else, I will be back here tomorrow again at 9 a.m. Oh, he's talking about Scorpion Fire from Beatmania 2DX. Oh my god, Cyber did it. But anywho, we can talk about that in tomorrow's stream. Thank you so much. I hope to see you guys tomorrow. Oh, crap. Cyber, I don't know how you did that. I don't know how you did that, Cyber. You can explain to me tomorrow, though. Jesus. I'll see you guys here in the morning. Until then, please enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. To be honest, I kind of miss the sound of the garbage trucks. Isn't that stupid? I miss garbage trash Tuesday, even though it's been very quiet in here. The one thing about the stream that's nice, it's really quiet. Okay. I'll see you all soon. Abo. Abo. Oh my goodness. We got a scorpion. Maya's